practically every one of the top 40 records being played on every radio station in the United States is a communication to the children to take a trip, to cop out, to groove. The psychedelic jackets on the record albums have their own hidden.
This is a special question. We don't want you to smoke genetically modified ganja. We want you to smoke the real thing. We want you to smoke the natural herb. Some call it marijuana, some call it sensimedia, some call it lamb's bread, and some people call it
ganja.
Welcome to another edition of the Adam Dunn Show. I am your host, Adam Dunn. I know you can't recognize me, but it is me. I swear to God, it's still me.
Younger brother.
And we've got our buddy, Mr. Charnock, hanging out there in the corner.
Hey now.
And of course, MTI.
I guess I am in the corner.
You're up in the corner. You're up. We got a baby in the corner, right up there. Just get in the corner. And we've got, of course,
with perfect lighting.
MTI running things from behind there for us.
Oh yeah.
And we have Joe Hodis joining us right out of the gate.
Right out of the gate.
Right, this guy is so on time. You can tell he's corporate. You can tell this guy's corporate just by his timing.
What the fuck?
Just by his timing.
You didn't shave? Nothing?
Yeah, this is my this is my look, man. You
Let me just say before we get started, man, the room you're in, the lighting is so perfect for Zoom.
Oh yeah.
It's not distracting or glaring at all.
Rear lit, kind of like you're in a sauna.
That.
It looks like you're in a sauna, actually.
Can you see this?
Yes,
pretty clearly.
I do. You can click the create a Zoom background and put up like the Wana logo or something.
If you want to, only if you want to.
How about that?
There we go. Now you're talking.
Now you got saliva dripping out of Dave's corner of his mouth. He sees candy. Don't show him candy.
Candy.
Welcome to the show, Joe. You have an illustrious career, as I recognized from the stories that Dave told me, which I think we might as well start the show with that one, because the way he met you was a roundabout way, which is always fun, and it's nice when serendipitous things happen. So give me that little layout of how you actually even met Joe in the first place, Dave.
I was on a Frontier Airlines flight. I want to say, was it 2003, 2004? And we're next in line to take off. The flight attendant says we're next in line to take off. And the call light goes off. Bing. She reaches back. She picks up the phone again. She says, listen, unless this is a medical emergency, we're next in line to take off. Don't ring your call button again. Bing. Instantly, they jump up 2 rows behind me. There's a pregnant woman, white as a sheet. I don't really know what was what, but she wanted off the plane, and they were going to oblige. And we went back to the gate 90 miles an hour, flanked by fire engines. And it was the coolest thing I ever saw. I'd never been on a plane where anything happened before. So I wrote a letter to Frontier Airlines just saying, your crew should be recognized for outstanding service. And I get a response back from their Chief Head of Public Relations, Joe Hodis, thanking me for the time that day and appreciate it. And I figured, you know what, I'm gonna save that name and email address, because maybe I have an ask sometime soon. So jump forward a few years.
Yeah, you could have got out right then. You could have got out right then, Joe. You had
never let me have your info, because now you're in my phone. So now we jump forward a couple of years, and a friend of mine who plays in a Grateful Dead cover band, he winds up having a bad experience on a Frontier flight, and he tells me the story. I'm like, wait a second. I know a guy there. Let me write him a letter. And I write him a letter. I say, dear Joe, my friend Rob Koritz had a problem on a plane. Could you help him? Blah, blah, blah. Joe writes back, I'd be happy to help him, but could you do me a favor? Could you ask him if he's the same Rob Koritz who went to Camp Sabra in St. Louis, Missouri in 1978? And sure enough, they knew each other. And long story short, now look at Joe. He's a king of cannabis right now from Frontier.
Now look at Joe. Yeah.
Well, then fast forward even further, and then you went to a Dixie Elixirs, and then all of a sudden, Mr. Joe Hodis himself
he walked outside right after my company, Calyx Development, bought their building.
Yeah.
And they say, you're going to meet our chief marketing officer, Joe Hodis. I'm like, wait a second. I know this guy, Frontier Airlines, Joe. Holy shit.
I cannot get rid of Dave Charnock, no matter how hard I try, man.
Gum on shoe.
This is where Adam makes the STD connection.
We're stuck with him too.
Gum on shoe for sure.
And Adam, I actually met you as well at the Dixie offices once.
Yeah, I was going to say also
think.
exactly. No, I was there, and that was funny because I had my moment at Dixie with Jan and the kid actually. So the kid, his first job
right.
was helping us out down there, which is so the kid is our former sound guy, and that was Ryan, who you remember Ryan, of course, Hendrick, I'm sure. Because he was there in the office every day. He was the one actually in there doing the work. Whereas I just rolled in and said, yeah, you're doing great, except for all these green lights. I don't know why they're still running every night. Because that was the great mystery of why the room was like half flowering and half not flowering. And then about halfway through the crop, they were like, oh, these lights don't ever go off? And I was like, oh my God. So yeah.
I heard that story actually.
Exactly. All these
that was
stories.
Told to me.
They're all. That story was told to you from another side.
I heard that one because it was, how sucky.
Yeah,
those guys were.
I know we're the sucky. Exactly. Well, yeah. When you give us a walk-in freezer in the middle of a warehouse, and we're like, no, we need the warehouse. You guys, we grow in the warehouse. We don't grow inside these refrigerators. That's not how it works normally. But you work with what you got, right at that point. So
Joe, sorry for hogging, but thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
You have the career everyone wants, I guess, in this industry. You've worked for all the big names.
Yeah, look, I was talking to someone the other day on a podcast, and she said something about my long-term involvement in cannabis, and I corrected her, just like I know you guys know this because you've been in cannabis for a hell of a lot longer than I have. There's a whole lot of history there and a whole lot of people that paved the way for me to be able to come in and do what I do, and I look at that and I recognize that, and I just think about my value being a guy from the corporate side who made the leap, I think fairly early, relatively speaking, from being a marketer for companies like Excel Energy and Centura Health, real conservative, just standard companies, into cannabis. And so as a result, I've had a lot of really, I think, great opportunities that have come my way, but it definitely is a result of also all the hard work that everyone else has put in long before I had anything to do with it. So.
Yeah, it's funny to watch the history now because it's like we kind of rewrote history in 2012 in Colorado, and then like a lot of people that's the starting date for a lot of people. They don't even think like the pre-part before that. It doesn't. And if you're not in the cannabis industry, that to them isn't even part of the deal. It's all from the legal sort of time frame. But as we all know, that is the black market is what really. Like it's not even like the traditional market, let's call it. That's what created this whole thing from day one, and and then I'm glad to say is thriving right now because of the lack of ability to get in lockstep, between the states and the feds and all of that. But we're kind of in a really like a weird period now where I think people will look back later, and as much as I hate what's going on as far as it not being gelled, it's also nice because the minute it is, we're all kind of like, oh no, remember the days?
Well, I think I think there's times when even in the last 7 years where people say, oh, remember when, it was only 7 years ago when X, Y, or Z could take place, and that's no longer the case. So as it continues to move forward, it continues to tighten, and things change on a regular basis. So
yeah, and you have to be with feet on the ground to really kind of, because if you step away from it for even a short amount of time, you're like, whoa, I have no idea what the fuck's going on anymore. So
yeah.
What were you saying, Dave?
I mean, just a few years ago, wasn't Dixie making cash deposits with armed guards going to almost every cash machine in the state? I mean, that's how every cannabis company did business. You had to find a cash machine that was emptied at 2:00 in the morning. I think Tripp said it to me. He goes, I don't even know if we count the money. I mean, the money's totaled somewhere, but we actually had to count the bills because we knew that 300 bills could fit in every machine. And that's what we did. We just went from machine to machine to machine. What was it? 3 feet of bills. I don't know. It was an interesting time back then.
I love Tripp to death. I will tell you much of what he says is hyperbolic. That is not. That is fact. That is fact.
Yeah, that's crazy. I'm glad we don't have that. It's an interesting direction where we're going. You had to have seen the writing on the wall. I mean, edibles companies seem to, that's their staying power. They have the ability to sort of transcend into different states a lot easier than someone's flower brand. So is that what you're experiencing with Wana? Are we going to see Wana in like every state across the country?
Yeah, look, certainly as a consumer packaged good product, it is easier to move that into other markets. But of course, there's two sides to that equation. One is it's really still difficult because we have to have individual partners in each market. Packaging regulations change. Everything from potency of products, all that good stuff changes market to market. So there's still a lot of complexity to it, but it certainly is easier. And I think for me early on, I think what was appealing about it is that there is a much greater ability to commoditize a product like flour than there is to do so with brands and edibles. And I think that's where I saw the potential to have an impact, but also, and I've said this before, pretty publicly, like I could take a back seat and watch the industry grow and be an armchair quarterback saying, well, they should have done this, or they should have done that. Or I could, get actively involved. And so early on, I started going, I was at the Capitol a ton. I was trying to, help influence legislation and regulation and make things better and safer. And, edibles became a real focus.
Influencing? Is that what I heard? Did I hear the word influence?
Well, influencing in a not influencer type way, but influencing like, hey, have you thought about it this way? Or, that would be ridiculous because if you did it that way, it's, there's a huge loophole here. So we kind of tried to at least bring a level of rationale to a bunch of regulators who didn't know anything about cannabis. So,
sure, no, it's amazing how much data has been crunched in the last 6 years here or 7 years. Like in Colorado, just constant. I mean, everybody. It's part of the protocol. You have to do it, right? So I mean, it's like whereas we've gone up until that point, everything was never written down, you know what I mean? So we didn't have all this data. It was all kind of like...
Yeah, you want a paper trail.
it literally was, exactly, you need it now. And before, you were like, woof, like at the end of the crop, tear that shit up. And anybody that I knew who didn't, I always thought it looked a little bit... it's a little bit dangerous if you've got lists of thousands of plants that you've grown over the years and all the data on them, you know what I mean? So...
Yep. Exhibit 1 in the conviction notice.
Right. So with Wana, you're doing this. You're pretty much marketing all the time. Right? That's your main thing. Is the marketing guy or?
Yeah, CMO. But it's still obviously a small company, and just like at Dixie, there's lots to do beyond just the core part of marketing. So yeah.
I think all cannabis. I mean, that's our thing is to wear many hats, and you're in. And if you're I mean, it's nice when you have a situation where like the grower just grows and the guy just does this and this guy does just that. But we all know that never really works that way. It's like you have to literally be able to, and it makes a big difference. Like companies that the grower is involved with the processing, especially with extracts, and also when it comes to edibles, same thing. Like if it's all within one sort of streamlined thing and somebody knows front to back, then you really get the quality control that you need. Whereas if it's like handoff every time, like one guy makes it and then hands it off to the extract guy does his job, then everybody's always pointing fingers, blaming each other and saying,
the Manhattan Project.
The classic. So that's, so I always respect it when people are kind of involved on all the facets of it.
Well, I think the other thing that drives that too is I think people who are in this industry have a real interest and passion, right? So to say to somebody in this business, like, you're going to do this, this is your box, you stay in that box, generally doesn't fit so well because, there's just so much to learn and so much interesting stuff going on. I wouldn't want someone to put me in a box because I think that I would not enjoy it. And Adam, to your point, I mean, it gives me greater insight so that I can have knowledge across spectrum of the things we do and have greater input on parts of the world and in my company that aren't necessarily mine.
Right. So one of the things we wanted to talk about, obviously, because we put it into the sort of the subject line of the show, was Wana's involvement with the Last Prisoner Project and kind of how and your role in that. I mean, I guess you're sort of the connector in that one, or?
Well, no, actually. So one of the things I love about Wana is that they walk the walk and they talk the talk, and that was something I thought was the case, but I didn't know for a fact until I got there. But yeah, the Last Prisoner Project was a relationship that was developed before I got there. Now, of course, since then I've helped to push it forward and identify opportunities and ways for us to really promote them, whether that's on our social media channels or, more importantly, it's going on all of our packaging. And we are constantly in the process of figuring out ways to drive not only visibility but also dollars into their pockets and carry their message forward. And that only took on more prominence as Black Lives Matter and some of the reform that we're looking at right now, or hopefully we'll be looking at right now, came to light. So it was fortuitous that we had that relationship in place, and I think it's a great way for us to help in making that change, because it's pretty overwhelming. And the good news is that for us as a company, we looked at it and said, okay, well, what does this mean? How can we help? What changes are we going to make? We looked internally to say, how can we embrace what's going on here and make a difference? Because, much like many, I think, some things were real obvious, but others were not. And so now we're becoming much more aware of what's going on and how we can have a role in that.
Right.
And LPP is one part of that.
Yeah, because I mean, things are moving so fast in regards to, the idea of police reform, and obviously before even that, prison reform should be the number one thing, just because there's like people sitting in jail for cannabis related things, which that should have
it's insane.
It surprises me that wasn't they weren't tied together from the beginning. How we always say you should regulate cannabis like alcohol and tobacco. It should have been, you have to regulate cannabis like alcohol and tobacco, and we need to release every nonviolent cannabis offender from prison. Just let them out.
If we had been doing that at a federal level, that we could have done that, but we weren't, right? We were doing it state by state, and we were just happy to have someone like pick up the bill and be like, all right, well, we'll sponsor this bill. We weren't even, the things we're thinking about now, 10 years ago, weren't even in the thought process, sadly.
Yeah, but some places actually did respond like that, and I know Canada did, of course, and places that had common sense were like, hey, this makes sense. Look, first of all, you get, give those people their lives back. And they should even be like, it's like the perfect opportunity to take them out of jail and give them an opportunity right away to do exactly what they did to get them in jail in the first place, because that's probably what a lot of those guys are in there for, growing, or for, they were either transporting or whatever they were doing. It's probably a job now. It's probably a legitimate job that they could come out and have, hey, I've got 15 years experience before I went into the fucking clink and ready to go. You know what I mean? Boom. And I would
You just described the movie Catch Me If You Can, right?
Frank
William Abagnale now consults to all the banks and everyone on how to make checks correctly and how to move money legally and safely, whereas he was he wrote more bad checks than anybody. Yeah. That would have been a great idea. Why didn't that happen too?
Because it's too easy. Because those are easy ideas. Those are like things that come out of like a stupid podcast stoner kid guy, dude, whatever. Fucking, why don't you do that? And it's easy. That's the problem. I think
there are states that don't have a legal framework right now, so maybe they will get it right and do it that way.
I would love to think that would be the case, Dave, but man, I feel like every day I'm just seeing, by and large, I'm about to say something untypically cynical, but people are assholes. And, the ability for people to see, for the collective people, not just people who are aware or enlightened about these things, but for the collective people to see beyond what's in front of them, this person's in prison, or, well, it was illegal previously, therefore, or whatever. I just don't see it happening collectively. Sadly, I think we're going to have to keep pushing and pushing harder and harder. Again, bringing it back to LPP, which is why that's an important organization and why the work they're doing is so important, because it does push the issue forward in a way that is broader than simply the three of us sitting on a podcast talking about it.
Do you know how because I mean, so Steve D'Angelo started it officially, right? I mean, that the whole beginning.
Yep.
Okay. And
correct.
How many people, or do you know how many members they have now, or any kind of data on the organization?
Members meaning like people that have been impacted or like released from prison or
expunged? Oh no! I mean, or just part.
Well, that's a good number.
Yeah, that would be even more important number, obviously.
Well, I don't have that either, but
It would have been a good number.
yeah, I mean, so I throw it out there. But
Well, Dale's on next. Maybe
don't.
she'll have that number.
Oh yeah, Dale will have all the data for us. No problem. We'll leave it. We'll pin it on her. But there's definitely like an urgency on this though, because like things move so rapidly, as you see. Like things are that we're gonna have so many causes now. There's literally like it's gone, in hyper mode as far as every single social justice cause is out there now. Things are extremely hyper focused on all that. So things like this, which are like they should be done, before, to let us get to the serious shit, because there's some serious shit out there that needs to be handled. But cannabis related crimes should be treated literally like, get the fuck out of here with that shit. Just get these people back. Let's get them on hooked, because literally we're talking about the safest of the people within the system. And I mean, they're letting out people for COVID that are have serious criminals, just because they have money, they're able to like get their lawyer to line it up to get them out because of the COVID scare. But the reality is like the cannabis people that especially the guys who have gone to jail for exorbitant amount of time, sometimes like 30 years for what's literally on the table, on an average day here or something. So you're like, oh my God. Oh my God.
Well, what's the interesting thing though is that I was in Boulder this week with some folks, and we were talking about the fact that, Dave, you live there, so you maybe know this. I guess they released a few hundred people from prison recently for as a result of COVID, and they released them, and but there's no support net, there's nothing to like help reintegrate them into society, and so you end up with a bigger homelessness issue or recidivism because they have to commit a crime in order to get food or whatever those things are, right? And so this I'll call it, for lack of a better way to put it, the supply chain of like from prison, released to reintegration, all those things, it gets complex, and then unfortunately I think that's what stops people, right? Like, well, we can't just let everybody out of prison, then what's going to happen? And so I think we need this common word right now, but a systemic focus on how do we reduce our prison population, bring people back into society, and give them some of the tools and things they need to be able to reintegrate.
Well, listen, you're right. It's right out of the frying pan and into the fryer. It is a classic situation of they're asking us to justify why they made a mistake by saying, well, we can't fix our own mistake. And I think that's ridiculous. They made this problem. They created a prison industrial complex that has a dollar value on a human life being incarcerated because they make money off of them. So yep. It's a loss for them not making money off of them. Then, like you said, there's no program out there to take someone right now who just gets released and make sure that they have a runway, right? I mean, we should not be setting people up to fail. I'm hoping the Last Prisoner Project, since they're dealing with federal prisoners, has the ability to, create those, not barriers, but those the runway to help people not wind up back in the system.
Yeah, the problem is, I think so much of our social safety nets rely on NGOs, non-government organizations, to prop up what, some say the government shouldn't be involved with or doing, others say it's their responsibility to do. But at the end of the day, my wife works in the nonprofit world. They scrape and struggle for every dollar they get, and that's true of all nonprofits, right? And so to put the burden on them to, not the burden, but to hope that these non-government organizations will be able to figure out some kind of a system versus coming at it from a legislation and regulatory perspective and mandating certain things, like, for example, what I saw, did you guys see the Asheville, North Carolina news this week? I think it was this week or last week. Anything on that? No.
I did not.
So it was headlined as oh crap! Now I'm losing the word. Basically, it was headlined as being giving money back to people of color in their community, but in reality, what it is mandating X% of their fiscal budget every year.
Reappropriation or something? What was the word? Yeah, I know. What is it? What's the word? Dave, come on. You're the word guy. Dave, word guy. It's not bagel.
I know the word.
It's not bagel.
It's just.
It's black and white cookie.
That was
reparations.
Sketchy.
Reparations.
So reparations. There we go.
Reparations.
Bam. See, I was so close. I was so close.
And it, but really what it is, and that's a word I think that certain people in government and others fear. But like what they've done is they basically said, okay, we're going to take X% of our budget, our fiscal budget, and every year it's going to be put into programs specifically designed to support people of color in the community, whether that's business support, whether that's school support, but things that are specifically designated for that community. And I think that's the right way to approach it is to make it part of what they as a community have to do, because we see right now there's so much fracturing. There's no way to get everyone together and say like, okay, we're going to move this, we're going to move this forward collectively and have success with different non-government organizations trying to come together and do this. Not going to happen.
So do you know how it's if somebody is released through the Last Prisoner Project, do they still have to, on a job application, say they were convicted of a crime, or is that completely wiped off their record?
I think it depends upon where they are, and I don't think the Last Prisoner Project really and I might be speaking out of turn here, so I'll just caveat it by that. I don't think they have the ability to necessarily expunge records on an individual basis. So if a community says, when we release you from prison for a nonviolent drug offense, your record is expunged, then yes, your record is expunged. But I don't think all communities are doing that. In fact, I know you saw here recently the Polis did that for, I think, 10,000 people, which was awesome. So kudos to Ian Sieb and Governor Polis for getting that done.
Yeah, but I'm done believing that the rest of the country thinks like Coloradans. It's that was a fantastic decision, which means it's going to be tough to see it happen in other states, because they all have their heads up their asses right now. It is very
insane.
Confusing.
It's insane. I have an unfortunate and unhealthy addiction to Twitter. I don't post a ton of tweets, but I scroll multiple times a day through trending.
You got scoliosis, basically, is what we call it.
What's that?
You got scoliosis. That's what we call it.
Scoliosis.
You get scoliosis. When you're sitting there, you go like, check your scoliosis. Oh, sit up straight. Make sure you're sitting up straight while you're scrolling, at least.
It's terrible, but it's just the things that I subject myself to that I read. I'm just like, oh my God, what is going on with the world? And of course, it's a microcosm. Great, it's trending on Twitter because 10,000 people tweeted about it. That doesn't mean the entire country is, but God, man, it's a sick place to be. And then there's, of course, the other half, there's also shit that they're talking about that I have like no clue whatsoever. I'm like, what is this? I don't even know what this word means. Like, and people are talking about it. Oh, okay.
I have to admit, I clicked the trending thing today, and I saw that probably the reason why Trump got rid of his campaign manager is because he found out he was dating Hope Hicks behind Don Jr.'s back. Or something like that.
Oh, I didn't see that.
There you go.
Go
Twitter came in handy.
Juicy gossip.
Wow, Dave. We could have a whole segment on you can do your gossip part of the show if you want.
Well, it's really logical to let someone go who's supposedly your campaign manager when your campaign is, tanking. But so you go, man, that's a pretty good decision. And then you find out, wait a minute, he didn't make a good decision because of that. He did it to protect Don Jr. because he was getting two-timed.
Oh, you see, you made the mistake of assuming there was some kind of rationale behind it. Of course not. That's why would you think that?
I don't know. Because I don't know. Because I'm
sucker.
I like to think about things.
Sucker.
So what's going on with WANA right now? I mean, I gotta tell you, I don't consume many WANA products simply for the fact that I haven't been able to yet find.
I like how it flowed a little too smoothly. You were like, I don't consume a lot of Wana
don't want
products.
to eat four gummies. I want to eat one gummy.
It's because you're not giving to him for free. That's what the problem is. You're not getting enough.
I pay for Incredibles. What are you talking about?
He's saying to you, basically, Joe, you're not giving me enough free things. I am not consuming them. That's what it comes down to. I know.
Dave never asked me for that.
A funny aside, though, in all the years that we had our connection at Dixie with Calix owning the building and the gajillion pounds of edibles going out the door, do you know, I received one product from the marketing guy that replaced you afterwards, and I think he gave me like a show sample that didn't have any medication in it because it didn't work. And I said, I don't think you want to give me products that you guys haven't given me products in 5 years. You finally do. And it doesn't work.
Ooh, man.
So that was Dixie.
Well, I will tell you this.
those guys.
Honest to God truth is like at Wana and at Dixie, with my name not being on the license, I never gave anybody product, ever. I mean, if I got product, it was from the dispenser.
I wanted it from Trip. He still didn't give it to me, or Chuck.
Well, that's a different story. But at Wana, I don't get product. I bought it. I bought some today, in fact, at the up the street. So,
do you have 1,000 milligram product yet?
We do.
Well, tell me about that. Where can I get it?
It just recently launched. It is 30 milligrams per piece, and it's 1,000 milligram bottle.
How does that work
out? Are we doing those numbers right?
No, 50 milligram piece.
Sorry, yes, 50 milligram piece. My bad. I wasn't doing the math right. And we just launched them literally like 2 weeks ago. So they're slowly getting into the market, but there's been a tremendous amount of demand for it. So we're just trying to slowly inch our way in so we don't end up not being able to provide enough for everybody. So
where can I get them in Boulder?
Damn it.
You're a marketing officer.
Yeah.
No, I'll tell you what, while we're talking, I'm going to find out.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
The power of the
internet. This is the time everyone should take a dab. Smoke them if you got them.
That's right.
What?
I can't believe my thing's acting up now. What the fuck's
going on?
My Puffco's acting up on me, Dave. What's going on?
Your what?
I don't know. Well,
no.
It's weird.
Really?
I don't know. It's weird. Like I plug it in and then it's nothing.
Well, then it's perfect timing because I told you that Kevin wrote back to me and we're going to hopefully get their CEO to come talk.
That's what I like to see. If you get it fucked up, see now that's the one benefit of having a podcast. Your Puffco breaks down. You just get the CEO on the show, and then you can yell at him. It's like it's all you wanted to do anyway. That's all you.
You don't yell at him. You just tell him you've used it so much, like 50, 60 times a day for like 9 months, and that's what happens.
Yeah, well, I will definitely give him some both sides of the fence there because there's some good. It's a good product.
All right, Joe has an answer.
No, I don't have the answer yet, but I was going to say people love that Puffco because before I went over to Wana, I was with a company called GoFire for about a year, and we were in sort of this metered dose inhaler vaporizer kind of category.
Oh, was that like the kind of like the inhaler looking one? Or
yeah, exactly.
I was interested. I never actually tried it. It was one of those deals where I was like kind of like.
Did it ever work?
Yeah, tell us if it really worked. Now you don't have to worry. You don't have to worry.
It did. The problem, so it definitely worked. It was actually a great product, and the technology on it was amazing. The problem was that it was fairly expensive. Supply chain was way too complex. I mean, the problems were all business related. Supply chain was way too complex. We ran into some funding crunches and had to really pare back all the different projects we were working on. So GoFire is still in business and actually coming up with some really, really cool stuff. Much less costly and easier on the supply chain side. So, but they are still a thing. But anyway, I did a lot of looking at Puffco, and I know that a lot of people love that product. So
I'm a Carta guy. I was very thankful. I was gifted a Puffco by Bob. He gave me a Puffco. We did the High Times judging categories. I got about 20 dabs in, and it broke. and that was that.
Really?
Yeah. Well,
that's not good.
It was operator error. Something about the the atomizer. I guess I got it wet. I tilted it or something like that.
Oh, interesting. So you neglected to mention that until just now, huh?
Well, no, I'm saying it right now. That's why I broke it. It broke. But after 20 dabs, I don't know how can you. It just wasn't for me. This Carta, I've taken hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. It has never failed me.
Oh. And we have word on the street that there may be an Adam Dunn Show edition coming soon, huh? Because you're such a dedicated, because you're so dedicated, Dave. They literally are going to make a Adam Dunn Show limited edition for Dave, and then I'm going to have the Puffco CEO, and I'm going to start the fight. It's going to be great. It's going to be like we have to play the little Star Trek theme, a little. We'll do that, and we'll be like, oh, exactly. Once that kicks in, it'll be on. Yeah.
Listen, can you construct a rudimentary lathe in the office there?
Who?
Who
are you talking to?
Remember Kirk makes his weapon in that scene.
It sounds like our high dos are in Ajoya and Boulder Wellness right now.
Oh, Boulder Wellness, our friends.
Yeah.
So Mitch used to run that store.
We love those guys.
Yeah.
Nick and Allison was they were second place at last ADSI too. Those guys rock. Nice. Those guys rock.
Does Boulder Wellness do curbside? You don't know. I'm kidding. I'll call him.
Boulder.
He's the guy.
Why would you know that?
We're asking the guy who's going to look on his phone. That's the show. That's the show's called.
Yeah.
We interview the guy.
Let me look that up.
Who then looks at the phone.
Let me Google that for you.
Let me Google that for you. That's the name of our podcast. No, it's and the cool part is, I mean, doing marketing is what I should have done, because that's like where my brain goes into all the time hyper mode, where I'm just like, oh dear, and it's but it's only other people's shit. Like with my own stuff, it's fucking hard.
What are you talking about? You do the card for each week. I don't know. You pull these things out of your ass is so fantastic.
They are literally coming out of my ass 100%, dude. Like 100% straight out of my ass.
Isn't that beauty marketing, Joe? Right? If you can just pull it right out and make it happen, then you don't have to go to committee.
No, that's never going to happen. That will never work. I can't do that. That's the thing. Nope. I'm a one-man show when it comes to that.
I don't know if that's the right answer all times, but certainly being able to think on your feet is good.
So I think we went like a whole job of yours where I didn't even see you, and then when I finally bumped into you, you're like, "Oh, by the way, did you know I was with General Cannabis?" And I missed out on that whole. How long were you with General Cannabis, and what were you doing for them?
And who are General Cannabis? First of all, I don't even know.
So General Cannabis is a ancillary business company, or they were an umbrella company that had three ancillary businesses underneath that. Next Big Crop is consulting for large scale cultivation and dispensaries. Chieftain, which was a hemp clothing company.
I like Chieftain. They're awesome. Were you working with them too, or that was part of the same?
They were underneath that umbrella, so they're owned by General Cannabis.
Awesome. They were good. That's a great company. So there you go. I'm happy already. I like these guys.
And then Iron Protection Group, security company.
Oh, I know.
Hunter's company.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah.
I know that one too. All right, so there you go.
Yep,
they were
Hunter.
all cool. That's all cool, I guess. There you go. Nice. Because I was
it was interesting. So I was with Edibles for 4 years, and I did this ancillary. They're a publicly traded ancillary company. That was an experience. Then I went to GoFire, which was really small, tiny startup, tech focused company, and now back to Edibles. And so I've kind of had this, kind of roundabout way of checking out different parts of the industry. And I like being back in Edibles. And I love being with Wana too. It's just such a great company. So.
Well, I used to work with Nancy a long time ago at when she and John were doing Mountain High Edibles.
Oh.
And so right at the beginning, I mean, we made some of the first products together in our little test kitchen, and we had the scientist, and she would make this extract. They would put some product together, or chocolate or something, and they didn't know how high a dosage they could go. So they'd come out with they'd go, Dave, try this.
I knew you were that guy. I
milligrams.
knew that was your job. You were the try this guy.
And I would eat it, and I would go about my day, and they'd check in with me every 30, 40 minutes to see how I was feeling, to figure out what the dosage for me was. And then they like made it by a 10th for muggles.
You were the guinea pig. I get it.
I had a lot of fun back then. That was great.
Well, did you ever guinea pig something where you're like, can't handle it, too much, not good?
Not back then, no. The extraction was still coming around. Everything was still getting figured out. I don't think they really understood decarboxylation that much, and there was only one. What Ian Behringer, RM3 Labs, was the only person really doing quality testing back then. So it was tough. But no, they did a 100 milligram chocolate bar that I ate 2 of once. And it was each bar was probably very hot.
Hey, Dave.
And I got driven home that day.
Your Swiss timing, your precision Swiss timing. I want to keep you on check. It's 5:10, bro. Should we bring in Dale and have her join the conversation?
Is she on?
I don't know. But
is she waiting?
Did you guys send her any links?
Did you send her a link?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. So she's probably listening.
I'll text her.
And do you want me to bounce? Or
no. Well, I want you to stay until you can, because I know you got to leave in 20 minutes or something like that, right? You have a little. You're on a puppy schedule. You're on the official puppy schedule.
I am.
Which cannot be broken.
A dog 2 days ago. Yeah.
Oh, geez. We have to ask. What kind of puppy is it?
He's a Pyrenees Collie mix. We got him from Big Bones Canine Rescue, and we already had another dog too. So this is a second dog, but he's so sweet, just a great dog so far.
You've had him for one. You've had him for a whole day, dude. Like, sweet dog. You come home. House is fucking tore apart.
You can tell, right? If a dog.
Chickens are dead. Chickens are dead. Houses tore apart. You're like, oh my god, blood stains everywhere. No. Well, that's
hopefully not.
Good. No, we want you to hang as long as you can. And if Dale's listening and she wants to jump in, because she wanted to be here for 4:20 Pacific time, so we've already blown our. We blew our 4:20. I don't think we have officially.
Well, I don't know if you're a regular listener of the show, Joe, but Adam has this philosophy that you don't start on time, because if you start on time, everyone will expect it.
Yes.
Then you just can't be late without pissing people off. So if you're regularly late,
a good philosophy. I think that makes a lot of sense.
Right?
A little I'm trying to be proactive is what it is. I know how people are. If you're on time all the time and all of a sudden you start slipping, then they're like, Dad, I can't believe I've waited 35 seconds. You know what I mean? And now it's like 10 minutes, no problem. I'm used to it. If I come in any earlier, they're like, wow.
Yeah.
They actually kind of
Dale's
piss off.
getting ready. She'll be here in a few.
Perfect. All right. So there you go. And then we'll get all the real data, because we know she's obviously listened to the show, realized all the work she has ahead of her, because we couldn't answer any questions about the prisoner last prisoner project. So we'll get maybe some hard data out of her for that. Also talk about what's going on. She's as far as anywhere to be right now, if you're in I always feel like Oakland is like the tinderbox of America, where any revolution is going to start, in my opinion, was always going to start there, regardless of what it was, even race related or not, just because it has that vibe. It's like it's always the spot, So I can imagine being in the cannabis industry there and being right there in Oakland and just being surrounded by all this change and what's going on. I mean, we'll be on the good thing is that we're all on the good side, right? Cannabis is like the fucking altar boy.
Essential.
We're like the altar boy of industry right now, where everyone needs us. It's not really altar boy, but you know what I mean. Like we're just like we're like perfect.
COVID pushed forward the cannabis industry by 5 years, in my opinion. I mean, if we would have had this conversation 8 months ago, would Boulder ever allow home delivery? I would have said, no fucking way. They'll allow it a week after federal legalization, and now they do. Okay?
Well, Denver still hasn't gotten their shit together.
They will. I think a lot of the margins, the things on the fringe that people had time to focus on are going to go away. Nobody's going to have time to deal with that. There is technology out there that allows a face-to-face transaction via home delivery, a driver. That they allow it for alcohol. They should allow it for cannabis. It's simple as that. if they had a reason other than because we want to protect our revenue and we think you guys are going to rip us off, we won't get our taxes, then tell me what it is. So if we can solve that problem and the transaction can be monitored, seed to sale, the same way it is at a dispensary, then there shouldn't be any reason why you shouldn't be able to deliver.
Agreed.
You know,
I
so
agree.
and there's other things, right? The other states will see that, especially states like Colorado, during this horrible pandemic, actually is taking in record-breaking tax revenues from cannabis, and that is helping in ways that we just don't know about. That cash flow, it's keeping the state running during a time when so many people are unemployed, and it's keeping people employed that would normally be let go.
Well, I think that piece, yes, there's the employment piece, and that certainly is a bigger picture look at, how the cannabis industry is helping support communities during this time. But the tax-based piece, I mean, I have to believe that when these communities begin to see such significant shortfalls,
tripping.
It's going to be...
Brandon's tripping. Sorry, I just want to throw that in there. Brandon's tripping. Brandon is tripping balls right now. Oh, shit. Just want you to know. Everybody.
Brandon, and should I whisper?
Yeah, everybody.
Can you hear me?
Everybody start whispering.
Brandon. What are we on, Brandon?
Brandon. Mushrooms, dude. It's okay.
Mushrooms.
Shrooms. It's all good.
Good.
It's going to be good.
Yeah, it's
I'm an LSD guy. Shrooms never did me right.
Stomachy.
I'm a quality acid
on your
guy.
Stomach. You got a little sensitive stomach. I know you. Ooh. Do the goo. The goo is the way to go. That's it. Forget about the goo. The goo.
All right, I'll try it.
Yeah.
What's the goo?
It's like a concentrate. Basically, it's like if you did a reduction. It's a mushroom reduction, technically speaking.
Yeah.
But
It's like hash mushrooms.
Yeah. And it just gets rid of all the stomachy things, because you don't have all that
That's good.
other bullshit in there. And all the it's like, I think it's just, your body just knows. It's like, oh fuck, get it out. This like slips it in, doesn't even know it's happening. You're like, what? Yeah, you get in, you get out, no problem, and you can sleep. That's the number one thing.
Should we do shouts?
Yeah, let's do shout-outs because we're waiting on her. We're just chilling. Let's just do shout-outs real quick.
Boom.
And then you can hang out
Joe,
with us.
You're going to help us do the incredible shout out. Okay?
Yes, there we go. That'll be funny. You can't do that. You'll get fired, bro. New Millennium Nutrients, we don't have it. We have we can't get fired around here. That's the one thing. We can't get fired on this show. Well, Dave can. Dave can. MTI can't because I'd lose the show. I wouldn't be able to do it. So physically couldn't do it. Dave, you're on thin ice. Let me tell you right now.
I'm on thin ice. Better watch it.
Watch it.
I'm watching it.
So, newmillenniumnutrients.com. You got to go to these guys if you want the sort of the best of the best when it comes to professional growing. Even if you're small, you can also pick up some of these products. But if you're running any kind of large facility and you want to, be in control of what you got, check these guys out. You obviously need to use the Dunn deal. There's a few products that are standalone, which I think, they're all pretty much standalone, but the three that would be the most distinctive that nobody really has is their Winter Frost, which is a finishing product, and that's like enhances the terps and really brings out like the, obviously the glands and things, but it's just one of those things where you know your plants really well. So if you hit this at the very end and you see a difference, which you will, then you'll be like, all right, I want to try the rest of the fucking products these guys have because that works amazingly well. But you can also pick up the Ruby Fulvic, which is their, I think it's 11 types of, it's got 11 types of fulvic acid, which is amazing. If you know anything about the quality of the different nutrients, fulvic acid's like the sort of the champagne of the bunch. It's the top element, and it works wonders. But you have 11 sources, so kind of hits every combination you could ever hit. So check that product out, and also Decision, which is their single, another great product because it's like nobody really has that. You're in between. You want to go into you're flipping your plants. You run 1 or 2 rounds with this Decision product, and it helps set your plants up properly. And that really just, as you know, the good healthy clones and healthy plants produce healthy buds at the end, and it really makes a difference. So check those 3 products out. Ask for the Dunn deal. And I know they're a little bit backed up, so if you want to get any kind of like things from them, and you should contact us direct also and say you're interested, and we can pass that along and kind of cut the line, because they literally have a 6-month waiting list on because of all the shows they did and all the requests for little packs and stuff. So just come to us. We'll take care
Try
of you.
putting Adam Dunn sent me in the subject line.
That helps. It does help. Because it helps get you in the trash can real quick. You're like,
No.
no, of course not.
And then Juana's big competition, right?
Oh, the
I
biggest.
Love
Oh, look at
Yep.
he's crying. I can see tears
Look,
coming
the
down.
2 toughest kids on the block. There's nothing wrong with being 1 or 2.
No,
It's either Juana or Incredibles.
And I emphasized earlier about the fact that the knowing your product from front to back is important, and that's one thing these guys always have had in their back pocket with Derek on board, Mr. D Money. They've got the grower and the processing and everything under one roof, and it makes a big difference. And that's kind of why these guys produce such consistent products. Check out their website; they got a whole new look on their packaging and on their website, obviously. So looks very streamlined, very cute. Very nice, but I do miss the old.
It's kind of it's retro, right? Like
it is.
I saw
it's
some
very
of that,
50s.
it's like throwback to
Looks like Willy Wonka or something.
It says incredibly wanna. I incredibly wanna. Right on it. It says that. I can't believe it. Can't believe it says the word
it
wanna.
highlights the edibles in the name.
No, it is really.
But they have like 9 new flavors.
looking good. Looking good.
They're
Charm
great
City.
company.
I don't know what that is. That's new to me. That's a lot of stuff we need to try. That's what it sounds like to me.
That's what it sounds like to me.
Sounds like
too.
you, Dave, need to go talk to Bob and tell him you had Juana on the show, just like I said. And then you play the music. You go, dun, 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 dun. You play that at the same time in the background, and then and when you get us a bunch of new stuff to try on the show.
Bob and I love each other.
I'm sure you do.
ADSI Edibles Division.
Right.
know?
We can do it, and we can also
Get that going.
we can have Juana products too. That's okay. I don't mind.
Mm-hmm.
We can have a whole bunch of those around, and we can just we'll play the music and we'll eat them at the same time, and we'll see who wins. That's it.
There we go.
Whoever's on the floor first,
that's
the
an
other guys
interesting
win.
idea.
That's how it goes. Like if Dave's on the
I'll
floor,
be down for that.
then the Incredibles. Okay, good. All right, challenge accepted. Perfect.
Yeah.
I
White
knew.
glove.
I knew we could use this to our
I'm down
advantage.
for it. I don't mean,
So I
I don't mean me
suppose you.
personally. I mean,
Okay, here's
you
the
guys
here's
be
the
down for
deal.
it.
Here's the deal. We need 5280 worth of product in any form, and we're going to do the 5280 challenge, and we'll just do that. So we need
There we go.
so that way everybody has to eat. So we need a bunch of 5280. So we need a whole whoever's going to be in the challenge. And so Dave has to eat 5280, and I have to eat 5280, and
With 5280, like 5,280 milligrams.
Yes.
Yeah,
and whoever
man.
goes down
Over the
first.
course of how long?
Well, we'll start a couple hours before the show, and then at the show, we'll just sort of mow down, and we'll be sloppy messes by that point. That's what the idea is.
Sloppy messes.
And I want you to go down during the show. So we have to figure out how long you can last, and it has to be within the 3-hour time period so that you, my friend, are on the ground, a blithering pile
Yesterday,
of gel.
I ate 5 Incredibles over the course of a day, so 250 milligrams.
Okay, that's a
But
start. That's a start.
5,000 milligrams is
Yeah, and don't forget the 280.
more.
That's all I'm going to
Yeah.
say. Don't forget the 280.
And we have done deals for Incredibles that we're going to
yeah,
explain
Mark,
here in a
keeping
little
us
bit.
on
Oh yeah,
track.
let's do it.
But
Let's do it.
also, we have a done deal that you can get at True Pura, the
Which
sister company.
which is a sister company to them, and that's their CBD line, and you can get that directly to your house, delivered, so you don't have to even go anywhere, and get the done deal.
20% off.
20% off. See that? 20% off. No, 45% off. Okay, Juana, you got to keep up with us. Juana, 45% off they give us, right? Dave,
yeah,
come on,
45.
Dave. Think a little quicker, Dave.
50.
50, yeah. Okay, good. Okay, so we got 50. See, I
Oh,
knew-
Juana will be in for 25%, right,
no,
Joe?
we already had him at 50.
That's
dude.
fair. You always want to
you-
outdo the competition a little bit.
DJC just did this wrong.
Dave is a consummate strong armor. I'll tell you. This guy.
What?
Right. Here he
What
is
are you
back.
talking about, Joe? That 30% deal you're going to give us is going to be no problem for you guys. We're going to give you so much business.
Exactly.
So
So
when
honestly,
we get that
the-
35%, it'll be amazing.
I'll tell you what.
you don't know how much True Pura's already got MTI. Like his parents are already like emptying bank accounts out just to pay for them.
Like
We
M&Ms.
need more True Pura. He can't go to college. His college years are over.
Yeah.
Things are done. Yeah, they've taken all the money out.
Yep.
So anyway, if you want that kind of dedication, you need to be on our show somehow.
Yeah.
Got it.
But only after the battle. Only after the battle. 5280 battle. We'll do that first.
5280.
Yes, and you're in it, Dave.
Okay.
Well, that would be fun just to see how long Dave could go before he drops.
Not that long. We're gonna make it. It's gonna be
What
on the
does drop mean? Do I get to sit down, or is it like I'm past 45 degrees, and I'm lying down? What's the?
We're gonna let Chat Gang figure it out. Chat Gang's gonna be in. Mike Denver is gonna be the one.
Then
he'll
I'm
be
dead.
watching. He'll be like,
They'll
he'll be like, his eyes are flickering. He'll be like, Dave's eyes, one eye's closed. Dave's got one eye. He's like, God.
It's that scene from Raiders of the Lost Ark where they're doing shots, and he's like,
yeah, exactly. So you gotta.
And at our next one,
all right, who's next?
We can get an incredible done deal at this next one.
Always.
Apothecary Extracts?
No, Green Farms.
No, who is it?
Green Farms Med.
GreenFarmsMed.com. Say it, Dave. Come on.
GreenFarmsMed.com.
Remember we changed so we could do the done deal for Incredibles?
Yes, because you can actually get the incredible done deal right there at Green Farms in Colorado Springs. So if you have a medical card in Colorado and you want to get no-till grown cannabis, never been sprayed with any bullshit, it makes a huge difference when they on their rosins. Just like looking at the profiles of the rosin, you're like, holy shit, this stuff's like everything is up. It's not just like extremely high in THC with a little bit of this. It's like it has CBD, it has CBNs, it has CBCs, and all sorts of and CBG and everything. And so
all the C's,
all full spectrum. But anyway, check them out.
Look, Dale's here.
I see Dale.
Say hi to Dale.
Hey, Dale.
Hi, Dale.
She's here. She's ready for 420. She's like, oh, it's 5
Dale,
minutes.
we're doing shout outs. You can unmute anytime and help us advertise for the show. We got to pay the bills. Hit that unmute, though.
You'll do better than Dave, no problem. Yes, okay. She'll do better than Dave without knowing any of the products, just like that.
Of course.
Look at that.
Of course.
And no worries, I was on mute having my own private 420. So
that's fine.
Hello,
we
gentlemen.
Cool. We got
Happy 420.
Good. We got about.
I was enjoying watching the show. I wasn't sure if I should interrupt, so I just.
Oh no, it's cool. We're gonna do shout outs. We're gonna continue shout outs now, just to kind of pay the bills, and then we're gonna jump on with you. And how are you doing on time? Because look, you got only 4 minutes left with should we do the last 4 minutes with him and then bail out?
Mine's not a hard. Stop.
Oh, you're not a hard. Okay, all right.
All
right. So let us finish.
No, my only hard stop is the Hungry Heathens.
Okay.
No,
okay.
AKA children.
Yeah, gotcha. All right,
so
let us
I'm going
finish.
to go back on mute and let you do your shout out.
Sounds perfect, Dale. All right. Thanks. Greenfarms.med.com. Check them out. Get the done deal if you go there. And also, if you go to Louisville and you want to grab some inputs to grow your own, you can go to Green Farms Feed and Seed in Louisville. Also, done deal at the check out and see what happens. They may just slap an extra 15% on top. Be like, yeah, man.
It's one of those moving bar done deals. You just sort of just ask for it and see if they'll give it to you.
That's right.
You never know. And next up, we got our longest lasting. I think these guys have been with us since day one, and couldn't have anybody better. Buildasoil.com. If you're looking for organic inputs, be like delivered to your door, you go straight to these guys. They have the best sourced materials, IPM products for your plants, for your pest management. They've got obviously soil in all different combinations, and you can do custom blends and as little as a couple bags up to a couple yards, up to truckloads. The guy does amazing work. Also, if you want to listen to any of the old shows with Jeremy from the show, always a wealth of knowledge from him. And if you call them, if you want to call them direct, you can go to 855-877-SOIL, contact somebody direct at the shop. Every single person who works there is like weed friendly and understands what's going on. They got weed growing in the shop, in tents. They got side-by-side comparisons with plants growing with super soil and only water, and other plants growing with teas, and comparing the two. And you get to see, real great shop, great people, and the done deal as usual on the checkout. And that'll get you another discount on top.
Listen, they don't just talk the talk, they walk the walk. They have a full serving. You can get produce down there, all the veggies you want. I mean, it is
sourdough.
Mushrooms.
Dave wants to go for the sourdough, of course.
Well, he's the one that got me into it. So, and I keep a sourdough starter alive. I feed it every day. And so,
nice.
Listen, you got to go to their Instagram page and follow them there, because they are doing some firework.
And this one's Dave's right here. Ozo Coffee.
Oh, good. I can do dab.
Oh, listen, I'm a huge fan. Dale, I don't know if you could get Ozo Coffee in California, but you can get it shipped to you. So you can go to ozocoffee.com. You enter Dunn Deal in the promo code, and you actually get 20% off your first order. They roast all their own beans. They source everything across the globe. They've got a guy I believe his name is Nolan. He goes out, he sources beans. They roast them on a 1959 roaster in Boulder. And once you try this coffee, you are ruined. You won't go to coffee shops anymore. You won't. There's no Folgers. It'll never happen.
I'm in.
Ozo
Coffee has fueled the revolution. So
I've seen their store at 55th and Arapahoe, right?
Yeah. It's right near Juana's home. I mean, it's like 20 blocks, right? You know? So right down the road. It's on Arapahoe. You're on Arapahoe. You got.
I know.
In fact, you should have Ozo come in and bring you guys some coffee for all of Juana, and make sure they know about the Dunn Deal there. And then when we're getting that 35% off Juana, it'll be an interesting combination Dunn Deal.
He's creeping it up. He's creeping up. You know, I like it.
Well, I heard one of the greatest things is Juana edibles and coffee together. I mean, it's like Reese's.
Is that right? You heard that, huh?
Yeah. But you got to go to Ozo Coffee. They got a bunch of locations here in Boulder and in Longmont. They're great people. They're deadheads, of course. That's why we get along so well. They're cannabis friendly. They sell the Willie's Reserve CBD coffee, so you can pick that up also. So just head over to ozocoffee.com and enter the Dunn Deal, and that's how we pay our coffee bills.
It makes my mom happy. That's all I know. She's like,
I got some more for you guys too.
When we get 5-pound bag of coffee, she gets a big smile. We drink.
So wait, when I go to the website, I enter in Dunn Deal just like that.
Yep.
One word. DUNNDEAL.
All right, I'm gonna do that. I love coffee.
It's awesome.
There you go.
And then we'll try to see if we can after you've done that, and then Dave will do some magic, and we'll try to get some Moana angles since you guys are close by that we can. Dunn Deals and then we're like facilitating at the we're over facilitating at that point.
Yeah.
On the treasure.
Speaking of over facilitating, if you're in Barcelona and you want to be over facilitated, you need to go check out our friends over at Treasure. PD is back up and rolling. The place is jamming. It sounds like it's back up. They got the back fixed and things. I mean, I'm
the Treasure shout out is only for non-Americans, because if you're an American, you can't fucking go to Barcelona. So you're shit out of luck. Yeah. But everyone else,
if you're
Treasure
trapped
is
there, you might be trapped there. There's definitely a few Americans who are like, holy shit, we're trapped.
One
here.
of our faculty got trapped in Italy during the shutdown.
Trapped in Italy.
Oh yeah,
amazing
Luke.
IP.
I know Luke. I know.
He was out there going to the International Trademark Academy.
He was my canary in the coal mine at the time. I was like, oh, let's check out Luke. Oh, look, he's got to wear a mask. That guy's a douche. I'll never do that. I'll never do that.
Never gonna happen, man.
That would never happen in America. America's never gonna wear it. And now we're already fighting over it. But if you are trapped in Barcelona and you want to go check them out, or if you're in Barcelona, or if you're in Europe and can you freely move like we used to be able to do at one time before we became a fourth world country. Now we're beyond third world. We're fourth world. We're lower than Sri Lanka.
We're the worst world.
Yeah, no, we are literally.
Our passport is worthless.
A fourth world country we've turned into.
We can't even go to Canada.
Thank God the wall didn't get built.
We're sad.
Kept us all in.
It's a sad.
Little did we know that the wall Trump was building was just to keep us in.
Dave.
Good timing, MTI.
Great.
All right, Dave. Thanks, Dave. Yeah.
That was so great.
Finally.
All right, who's next after Treasure?
Apothecary Farm.
Oh yeah, talking about Dunn Deals. That's the spot.
But that's a double Dunn Deal too, right? Don't they sell Incredibles also there?
Double Dunn. Yeah, you can get double Dunn Deal. I don't know, maybe.
So you can go to Apothecary
Our
Extracts
Dunn
in
Deals
Pueblo.
for the ambrosia and the
ambrosia and the
joint.
fused
yeah,
joint.
that's right.
Yeah, ambrosia fused joint. We have our own actual deal.
We'll have to talk to Brent to see if we can get that store wide or something like that.
We are smoking on some right now, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yes,
what do you got?
Was smoking something.
What was it called? Jared's Jambo.
Oh, there it is.
It's Mambo and Jam Band.
There you go. Oh, Jam Band. See, look at Dave. Look at his ears. His ears perked up. Whoa. I used to do the
Mochi
travel for
gelato.
Did you?
Oh, nice.
And I got some sour diesel batter, which is always interesting.
I'm out of hash.
You're out now?
Yeah.
What, totally out right now?
What?
Like
Yeah.
now at this
Oh,
moment?
no, I have some right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but pretty much out.
You have to do the sound effect.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's
right.
it. Whenever you're out of hash. I mean, that's
Anyways,
like, if you can,
yeah.
But
So
those
the Dunn
guys...
deal at
are
Apothecary is
never
a
out.
gram of ambrosia and an infused joint for $25. So just when you're going in to add that to your order, just mention the Dunn deal, and they will give you a nice gram of ambrosia and an infused joint. I gotta say, I tried the infused joint and I enjoyed it. I don't know what it was in it, but Mark gave it to me. I'm hoping it was fire.
He
But
put
it
some
was- it
sherm.
was tasty.
He dipped it in sherm, I'm
Dipped
sure.
in sherm,
He was
great.
like,
Is
yeah,
that what happened to me for the next 2 weeks?
He's like, I'm going to ring his bell. Bing.
That was the reason.
But yeah, go do the Dunn deal at Apothecary Farms.
For sure.
There you go.
And of course, Extract Craft. I was telling him I actually did 2 runs now this last weekend, and my only problem with it was too fucking easy. I was like, damn it, this thing is too easy. It works too. Just push the button and you stop, and there's nothing you can do. You can't think you're a hero by twisting knobs or doing anything exciting or valves or anything. You're like, this thing's fucking.
It has
so
a
easy.
complicated start button.
Yeah, you have to set it. The only thing you have to do is set the altitude. And after that, it's pretty much just to hit one button. Then now they have their blowout going on for their source, which is a smaller version of the Ito Pro, which is the one I'm talking about. But the Ito Pro, you get about 98% on average, 95-8% of the return on all your alcohol. Comes back super clean. The Crucible is really easy to work with, and you need that. Couple silicone mats, and you can turn it into its own vacuum oven, so you can pretty much turn it back into a vacuum oven. It's kind of like a cool self-contained ethanol recirculating system, which is totally safe to use, and can run about a pound at a time through it, a pound after it's been washed, so you wash it and take it out, the plant material, and drop it in there, and you only have to wash it for a few minutes. It's pretty damn easy. That was the problem. I was like, oh man, I set it and forget it. I don't want that. I want to be a hash guy. I want to sit around and potentially blow myself up all the time, right? Isn't that part of the deal? Aren't we supposed to be like on the edge? No, it's the opposite of that. It's very easy to use. And of course, you just got to get a good source of ethanol, and the best source that we found is they're right here in Colorado from Mystic Mountain Distilleries. They have the 420 extractor, which is their product designed for pretty much they're friends with the guys from Extract Craft, and they saw the need for this product, so they went out and started producing it themselves. Now they're producing shitloads of hand sanitizer, of course, because they're like, fuck. Every time I call the guy, he's just like, he goes, hand sanitizer. I'm like, what, dude? Hello, it's me, Bill. Hey, oh, you. Oh, you can tell he's like stressing out because all he's doing is whacking out like millions of gallons of hand sanitizer. But no, the best grain alcohol that's designed for extraction, so you're going to get the right thing. Check them out. You can get it for about it's like $36 a liter if you're buying, or a gallon if you're buying like more than 5 or something like that, which is, or 5 or more or whatever, which is pretty good price. So check them out and get a little bit of free shipping, I think, when you do the Dunn deal or something like that. If they can remember. Kind of be like, hand sanitizer. Just tell them hand sanitizer, and you'll get something. And our guys over at here you go,
14er
there
Boulder.
You go. Back to Boulder, man. We're all about
Dale,
Boulder.
did you know that 14er actually puts my mug on a can of weed, and they sell it? You believe it or not? It's actually pretty good weed too.
She believed everything until you say they sell it.
Get closer to the camera so I can see the.
Oh, he does.
Bring it on up there.
Does he have it? He doesn't have it. Oh, he has one.
Oh, there it is. That's awesome. Yep, I noticed you do the DJC. I'm the DSJ.
Yeah, it was close. But whenever you get to Boulder after this, whole thing is over, you got to head to 14er. They grow fire cannabis.
I live in Denver. I learned how to walk and talk in Denver. My parents moved me there when I was just a few months old.
You're a native.
I was 5, and then I went back. I can't remember how old I was. I think we'll say 22-ish, and stayed there for a few more years. My real dad, still lives on Castle Hill. So, I lived in Westminster, right next door to Boulder, and worked up in the mountains. So I drove through Boulder all the time. So it could very well happen.
Well, welcome back. But when you do come, it's 14 or bolder. They're on Mapleton, right across from the YMCA. They only do pre-order right now. They only let one person in the store at a
Makes
time.
sense.
Everyone's wearing gloves. Everyone's wearing a mask. Nobody's nose has been in your can. Everything is sealed at manufacturing. Tons of strains right now. Medical is offline for a little bit, so everything's recreational. They even have edibles right now. They make their own chocolate bars, rosin. They do ambrosia through apothecary extracts, so you can get it. You can get 14er concentrate at the store, or you can get it at apothecary. But you go to 14erbolder.com, you place a pre-order, you just show up, your order's ready for you. You walk in, you walk out. It's I wish I could say we have a done deal there, but it's Boulder. We don't have anything yet, but someday we might.
Working on it.
We're working on it. But I love those guys. 14 or Boulder.
Oh shit.
Fishheadfarms.com.
Oh shit.
Do you use fish shit at all, Dale?
Not personally. Although at some point you may hear in the background out that door right behind me the chickens.
Ooh.
We do have some instructors though that specialize.
Well, we
in
can definitely get you a sample direct from these guys because this is a great product.
We'll try it, and we are about to start doing product reviews.
Nice.
So,
Oh well, yeah. And if you're looking for something that smells god awful, like you basically open it up and go, oh my, it works like a dream, but it definitely enhances terpenes. I ran it in the entire last crop, and more than one person just say this is the best thing you've ever done, and I was like, well, I hope it's not just the fish shit, but I think apparently it might be because I didn't change anything else in my formula. But no, that's amazing. It's an amazing product. It creates it's another microbial product, but bringing in things that you normally obviously can't in nature. But it's banging product. They stand behind it, and you should definitely. If there's one thing you can add to your menu, I think that.
I understand. So we have a blog with a home grower, Jeffrey Hickey, and we did a field trip today with our current semester students, and he has been writing an isolation blog. He and his wife, who has pre-existing conditions, went into isolation back in February, as a matter of fact. So he's been doing the blog from his home garden, and we just did a field trip there, a video field trip, and apparently someone that was on that field trip just texted me to let me know that they did in fact discuss fish shit.
Oh yeah.
So
look at that.
We are talking about it, and it sounds like I have a couple growers already that would love to try that product because Oaksterdam is always jonesing for the good shit.
Pun intended.
No, you like
Indeed, all the way.
I can't imagine that he wouldn't be more than happy to send you guys out some.
Yeah. Check it out at fishheadfarms.com. You can get the done deal.
You can.
25% off.
And it's 25% off.
Fishheadfarms.com. That's a great deal.
It is. And
We'll support our local fish farmers. Or your local fish farmers now that I'm not a local anymore.
Well, they're in
the
Maine.
East Coast. They're up in Rhode Island.
I
thought they were in Rhode Island.
Yeah,
I think they're Rhode Island. Rhode Island, yeah.
Well, I'm born in Yankee.
So you said Maine. They hate you now. Now they hate you, Dave. They're like,
no,
Dave
I have Maine
sucks.
on the brain for other reasons
Maine
right
on
now.
the brain.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's good stuff going on up there.
But yeah.
No, but we do something so you can go to fishheadfarms.com and you can order it, but we actually do a little contest, Dale, so you can tell your friends if they ever want to send in their depiction of a fish in a diaper, because no fish are harmed during the harvesting of the fish shit. They have proprietary diapers that they wear, but since they won't let us in to see the fish in the diaper, we have a huge fan base that have been writing in with these Photoshop and artistic drawings of fish in diapers. And if they send it in, there's a very good chance they're going to win 5 liters. So you can send in your entry to Dunn Deal at adamdunshow.com. And, maybe a Joe fish in a diaper would be pretty cool. So anybody who puts Joe Hodis fish in a diaper wins. I'm just telling you right now, if I see that,
Jamie,
that's what should happen.
I'm trying.
All right, never
Let's
mind.
think about that.
I know it's a tilapia though. It has to be specifically a tilapia. I mean, you could put a shark in there if you wanted to be all weird, but got a
But the
shark.
rest of the fish would not
Shark shit would be a pretty hot product, I bet.
Shark shit.
I'm telling you. once I heard of tilapia, I got a little bit I was like, ugh. It's like the one fish I wouldn't order,
It's boring. It's a boring fish.
Yeah. Onward and upward.
As you're talking about no fish are harmed, the rest of you are talking about eating them, which does harm to the fish.
Yeah, I don't.
So,
there's a whole different. We got different agendas going on here. I think.
Seedsherenow.com.
When your students want to grow, Dale, you can send them to seedsherenow.com, and if they enter Dunn Deal in the promo code at the end, they also get a great discount.
Yes, sir.
And they're shipped discreetly all across the country.
And
I'm going to have you send a list of all these Dunn deals to me so that I can alert my semester students.
We can do that.
That would be good. That's a good. Oh, look at you looking at your watch.
Like I said, we're always looking through this stuff.
Looking at your watch. is that
I'm even convinced one or two to watch the show. It could happen.
At least
one.
My
2 new subscribers. Woohoo!
That's how we roll, bro. 2 at a time.
10,000 by January 1st. That's the goal.
We have.
All right. Well, let's see if we can help get you there. Oaksterdammers, let's make it happen.
That's for sure. But the guys over at Seeds Here Now, they have the best return policy, because if you have any problems with any of the seeds, you just contact them, tell them what's up, and they'll replace them. No fucking worries. They know what's up. You can also go to their forum and talk directly to the breeders. If you have questions about certain strains or whatever, you can talk to them direct. That's also nice. And they have like 50 plus breeders under one roof, and they're all the top guys, and everybody's been vetted, and that's what we love about those guys. And next week we're going to do a Seeds Here Now special breeder show. So because I knew they were Jones, and no pun intended, Jones. Everyone's Jonesing now. You got Jonesing on the brain now. Jonesing.
No, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. I have not even announced this on the Oaksterdam channel. So this is the Easter egg for anybody that happens to be watching this one.
I have a drum roll.
Wait, and we have a nugget. We have a nugget. Nuggets. Get rid of the nugget.
Nice nugget. Kind nugget.
Hold on.
Mr. Jones and I, we are coming up on our 10-year wedding anniversary, and what we have decided to do with ourselves, as we are stuck at home with our 3 kids now, is start a YouTube channel called Jonesing, so that we can just simply address what you are jonesing for, whether it's news or product reviews, various stuff. So
very nice.
We have been percolating that idea for a little while now, so it is in pre-production.
Cool.
You can find it, you can subscribe, and then you will be the first to see the first video.
Well, if you send me the link, I'll make sure to get it to Mark, and he'll put it up in the chat gang and on the site for everyone to head to.
We'll do that. Yeah.
Perfect.
I'm pretty sure that were we married yet when you took classes, Dave?
No.
You guys got married?
Not if you're only married 10
and
years,
Dave
because
got married?
I was there 11 years ago.
I'm confused.
No. Mr. Jones, Jeff Jones, extraordinaire.
No, of course.
Patient ID Center when I first met him.
Yes, although Patient ID Center was just simply the second iteration, he was the OCBC, the Oakland Cannabis Buyers Cooperative, that went all the way to the Supreme Court on this issue. Back in the 90s, this man was fighting for medical cannabis rights. He got originally rated, he started the bicycle service in 95 before the law was passed, opened on Broadway in 97, and was promptly raided by the Fed. He was actually open for a while before he was shut down. Won in the ninth circuit. So for about 6 weeks or so, it was legal for Mr. Jones to sell cannabis in America. He was the one mofo. And then, of course, they stayed him, and it went to the Supreme Court, where he resoundingly lost. But it was there were fights that went down long before our time. I have a photo of him actually handing a legal bag of cannabis, because this is back when baggies existed for such things, to the woman who is still our student garden recipient. She is a patient here in Oakland, California, so she receives the proceeds of the garden. The Oaksterdam garden is still her patient garden. And she's an MS patient, an amazing black lady with MS, and Yvonne Westbrook White, a true hero, true patient hero. She's been
Shout out to Yvonne.
Yep. Yvonne is an amazing woman. She traveled out to DC to sit with him.
We got one more sponsor though.
One more sponsor.
Well, tell me who.
This could be the big one.
Yeah, because your students would love this one.
This is the one that they all need it at some point. Tell her, Dave. Come on.
It's illuminarlighting.com.
Tell her.
Lighting. No.
illuminarlighting.com.
Yes, sir. And they have the best in all forms of lighting, whether it be LED, ceramic metal halide, double-ended. They have it all, and they can set you guys all up. And that might be an interesting one. I don't know who do you have for lighting right now? Do you have all random hodgepodge all over the place, or do you have a single
I
lighting
do
source?
have several.
See?
Yeah, when we went online,
yeah,
we have now smaller gardens with each of our instructors. So each instructor is testing a different lighting system. So that would actually be
is there an Illuminar in that mix, or do you know?
I don't think so, no. I'll have to double check, but I don't believe so. So this is definitely a chance for us to check out.
It's like a pretty good show for you. You're going to be coming home. She's gonna be like, I got fish shit. I got lights. Best show ever. Now we give away a light every month on the show at the final show of the month. Last Friday. So coming up in 2 weeks, and we do it every month. And basically, all you have to do is send us this is something that every student should do because they have a chance to win. And they write us a letter, tell us why they need a light. Say, I just graduated at Oaksterdam. I need a light. We'll be like, what? It's working. We'll see. That'll give us right away. We'll know that our show actually made sense.
Yeah.
And then we call them. We have to put a phone number in. We call them and say, what's the word of the month? Because if you go to the Illuminar Instagram, they're going to say word of the month on the Adam Dunn Show is whatever XYZ. Well, it won't be Flargle. What was my first one? I had some really bad ones before we actually came up with something scientific. But yeah, go to Illuminar and get the word of the month. Then you're like, we know you're dedicated at that point.
It was Snarf.
Snarf.
That's what it was.
It's giving Joe ideas about where to hide the word of the month for Wana on their marketing page.
I know. He's like, these guys are marketing geniuses.
The ideas are just coming like a mile a minute.
These guys and their marketing. Now look at the way these guys roll. But the guys at Illuminar, they will take care of you if you give them the done deal on if you're making a purchase. If you're making a big purchase, like you're about to buy fucking 400 lights for somebody, just throw in that done deal and you'll save about $50,000. You'd be like, holy shit, that was the biggest done. Those done deals work pretty well. Yeah, that's all I got to do. Done deal. Anyway,
Bills
we're done.
are paid.
That's it. Bills are paid. Woo! We still got all the people here. No one has gotten any kind of crazy emergencies from their kids, which is amazing.
I was actually going to say I apologize, but I do have to bounce.
But you stuck in there. You stuck in there. No, you stuck in.
You hang in there, buddy.
Oh, you were kind of doing your thing. I didn't want to interrupt you.
You and Dale need to chat for 5 seconds before you go. There you go. That's it. This is your moment.
Well, yeah, I could definitely do that because I did want to actually meet you and talk and hear from you a little bit more, but I apologize. But yeah, I a couple minutes and then I got to bounce, unfortunately. But
let's do it.
Thank you for sticking it out this long, Joe.
Yeah.
Great to hear your voice.
Not difficult, just timing issue. So
do it.
No, it's really good to see you. And it was great to see Wana Brands. I was actually down in Los Angeles just before all the shutdowns, where I was dumb enough to go in and out of LA airports twice in 2 weeks in February.
Oh.
Yeah, whoops. But I got to see Wana Brands at the Weed Week Awards.
Oh, yeah.
So it was really great to see how celebrated your brand was at Weed Week.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
You have an amazing crew.
Thank you. And, I don't know if you heard the very beginning of the show, but I was talking about the history that I was able to inherit when I started in this industry in 2014. And I was referring to people like you and Oaksterdam and your husband and, all those other folks you just mentioned earlier. So thank you for that.
You. Appreciate that, Joe. I was getting the kids set up to be quiet for this period when the show started. So I'll make you a deal. I'll watch your section if you watch my section, and I will catch you on the flip side.
That's easy enough. I'll definitely do that. Great. Well, thank you so much.
Connecting again. Certainly.
Yeah, likewise. I would love that. And Dave and Adam, thank you guys so much for having me. I really do appreciate it. It was fun. And I would like to, if I was honored enough to be able to do it again, I would like to do that. Dave, we'll circle back on the 5% off deal
40%
that we
Dunn
talked
deal?
about.
Well, Dave,
And,
you're gonna have to come for the 5280 challenge anyway. We'll have to also because
And the
we're gonna have to be in the
5280
same room. So Dave has to get over his phobia of being around people because he's.
I don't know why you call it a phobia.
He wants me to buy. What does he want us to buy?
More just a general dislike.
Some like
humor.
face shield thing.
He wants us to buy this like $250 thing that doesn't even work. He knows.
I said it was
he's
funny
like,
looking.
It's funny
I didn't
looking.
say
It doesn't work.
fuck it.
Buy it for me. I'm like, get out of town. We're not buying that crap because he's scared to talk to
Send him
people.
Find one just to wear as a Halloween costume.
It would be a good Halloween costume. That's for sure.
Well, guys,
Well,
thank you. I
Joe.
appreciate it.
Thank you,
Everyone,
my friend.
take care. We'll see you. Thank you. All
Big
right.
hugs, brother.
You too.
So,
And then there were three.
Hello, Del Sky Jones.
Hello, how are you?
Good to see you again.
It's really good to see you as well.
So I was telling Adam, I attended Oaksterdam in 2009. A buddy of mine he's like, he wants to know everything there is about cannabis. I'm like, listen, I can talk to you for a while and lose my voice, or we can spend a nice weekend in LA. And he's like, why don't I fly us down there? We'll go to, and I'm like, okay, that sounds great. So we spent a weekend in LA. We took your course. It was fantastic. But the highlight of that weekend had to be when we were on a break and sitting on the couch there is Tommy Chong. And I groveled to you. I said,
Where's that
please, would
photo?
you introduce? Well, Mark's got it, right?
Mark, got that photo? That was a good photo. Oh, listen to him. He's
Yeah.
he's
Big sigh.
oh, the size, the
no.
size.
I'll send it to you, Mark.
Yeah.
I
You're
got it.
down
I think I
from
have it somewhere.
It's a good photo.
So I'm
I
sitting
got
on
it.
I see Tommy.
You know, I
sitting
did
on the
not get a
couch.
photo that day. I had to run and like drive to Oakland, and they're just like, "No, you don't have time. Go, go, go!" And never got a photo.
It was the way that it happened, having them all. They sort of. I got to talk to Tommy for like
The
20
universe,
minutes.
the planets aligned. It was an amazing day. They all decided to meet up.
I don't have that
And
photo.
when the one heard the other one was there, the third one was like, "Well, I'll be right down." Yeah, all of a sudden we had Tommy Chong, Ed Rosenthal, and the amazing Jack Herr in the back room. Actually, a couple of them snuck out and watched class for a little while from the back. We had a few celebrities sneak in and watch from the back in a baseball hat, and I wonder to this day if the students even knew who was in the room at the time. But you knew, you noticed.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna be lost on me right there. And
I went there when Redman was there one time, and he had like his glasses on, and he was all looking dapper and like we were going outside, we were smoking out the front, and it was just funny. I was like, "You're taking a fucking class here?" He's like, "Yeah, man, I'm catching up." You know, and he had his book. He took it super seriously. I was like,
seriously.
he did, and I was like, "Oh,
Yeah, he's-
congrats! There you go."
And you know, I spoke to him not long ago. I had another student come through, Big Will from Philly, and Big Will was letting me know that he knew Redman and Method Man, and I believed him. And the next thing I know, he flips his phone around and he's like, "Here, talk to him." And Redman's just right there. So I asked him, "Hey, did you ever get certified?" And he's like, "Are you kidding me? It's on my wall." So I am, I was very impressed. That was good.
I forget that was a while ago though. That was
Yeah, I think that was Oakland though, wasn't it?
yeah, Oakland, yeah, and that was like 2010
Oakland.
or something. Or was that
10?
yeah,
we did
9 or
not
10.
have the pleasure of
2009,
smoking
2010.
joints outside at the LA campus. There was some shit going down then, and I remember it started out with you giving a speech to everyone saying, "Listen, the community around here thinks we're no bueno, and there is no smoking joints right outside."
It's our good neighbor policy.
Right.
We were very strict with our students about a good neighbor policy because we had, 55 people coming in from all over the world, and we had residences across the street, as well as other businesses. And so we wanted to make sure that we respected, their residences and places of business. And, I've got to tell you, we had a neighbor across the street that kept threatening to call the DEA on us. And it didn't concern. This was when LA was just a school and the patient ID center. It was not up north where there was maybe a little more growing. But in LA, the plants that we kept on site were not real plants. We brought real plants in for class and then they left again. They did not live there. And it was, it was parking. When I finally started asking this gentleman why he hated us so much, it was because our students kept taking up all the parking right outside his house. And so we just bought about 5 orange cones, and we knew when class was. So we would just, the first thing we did when we got there was drop those orange cones in front of his and the other 3 neighbors that were right adjacent to us, and protected their parking for them. And the next thing I knew, his son was going through the program. His son now, as far as I know, still runs an LA dispensary. And it's often about neighbor relations, and just don't piss off your neighbors. Just don't be a jackass, or what I like to call a popple. It's just not necessary.
It's so hard to do.
See it in the fall.
Zoom doesn't let you do that.
Very tricky, Dave, but I love that you are wearing your Amsterdam.
I was trying.
Flare.
I was trying.
Fantastic. We are
But I don't know
actually
if you
working on
remember.
trying to get an online store for all that again. So
You
we can get a credit card processor.
you used to bring plants into class, and I really wanted to go to a Los Angeles cannabis club. I mean, it was just 2009. I hadn't smoked, quasi-legal joint since I was in Amsterdam in years prior to that. And we came, I don't know if it was you or I came up with the plan, but I would carry the plant and you would show your California ID. And when we went in, maybe they wouldn't ask me for it because I was bringing the plant back. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened. And we stayed there for 45 minutes, and I got to smoke a joint there and cross that one off the list. So that was a great day. I mean, you don't often get to take a picture with 3 your heroes. I'm the only one that should not be in that photo. It should be the 3 of them together. I totally understand that.
I had a sort of a cannabis moment like that with CIA, where I had Rob Clark there because he just kind of hung out anyway, and then Mel Frank was in town, and then Ed Rosenthal was also in town, right? And the thing is, I told all 3 of them to come over at the same exact time, like, oh, hey, come over at 4, come over, and they all came, and it was like, oh no. They're not supposed to be in the same room because that guy didn't talk to that guy for 10 years, and this guy didn't talk. And I didn't know this because I was just 22.
Yeah,
I was just like, hey. So I'm like, and so
there's quite a bit of history there with the old literature.
The funny part was I brought them all over to take photos of my weed. So but they didn't want to do it together, and it was just weird. It was the weirdest moment I had. So at one point I was sitting there and I look over, I got Rob in one corner taking a photo of one plant, I got Ed Rosenthal in another corner taking a photo of another plant, and I have Mel, and I'm like, this is really strange. I was gonna set it all up together and they were like, no, I need my own. Everybody wanted their own little piece. So I had this weird cannabis moment where it was
they were each too big to be in the photo with each other.
Yeah, well, Ed's one of those guys. He's the one that probably created the between because I think Mel's a super cool guy, and
Mel's pretty mellow.
Yeah, and so is Rob. But I think it was weird because this was in 1993, so it was there was just something that had for the last 6-7 years, it was just
I think
I was
Mel used to write with Ed.
Exactly. Though I think that was the problem.
Yeah.
I think that was the problem right there. I think you've nailed it on the head
and
right there.
For Amsterdam, which is a big tent, and oftentimes folks that will not work with each other will still work through us with each other.
We always had.
I
think we always had the same. We had always the same thing because of we were more of a clothing company. Even though I was a seed company, I was also a clothing company. And I didn't have this sort of clash and then I worked with all these different people, and it was kind of I had the same vibe for a long time, where it was wow, people really kind of hang out here. But once we kind of drew out of the picture, and those camps never come together again. It's oh, it's gone forever. There was a moment in time when they all kind of came together, and I'm sure you've seen that because it's a never-ending, soiree.
Amsterdam's holy ground.
Mm-hmm. Well,
all of them, the entire movement could fit in a room, and they often did.
For sure.
There's old lore about how the 9/11 attack is probably what, quote unquote, saved the cannabis movement, because the Fed had firmly moved into the Bay Area and were circling because of the friendliness of the Oaksterdam founders, basically the owners of the restaurants in the hood, would tell them what the agents in the hood were talking about over lunch, because the FBI building's right around the corner from Amsterdam. So they knew that they were in for it. And apparently, as they were swarming, the planes flew into the building and the agents were yanked off of this beat. So there's been a few times by the hair of our chinny chin chin, because back in that day, raiding that room would have decimated the entire movement.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why the president and the vice president are not supposed to be in the same location at the same time to preserve continuity.
And we no longer do that. Yes. Yeah. Well,
gotta have continuity.
Our former president is now back in Texas. Richard moved back, and he's near his mom, Ann Lee, who formed Republicans Against Marijuana Prohibition, RANP. And Mr. Jones and I will just never fly in a helicopter together or do anything dangerous at the same time.
Smart. That's what all, you know what? That's going to be the way of the future.
Now that we have 3 kids, it makes sense to make deals like that. I was actually very impressed, homage to what that family went through. And I was actually impressed to find out that they had made that decision as parents, never to fly in a helicopter at the same time. And it's something to think about.
Absolutely.
Did I just drag it down? I'm sorry.
No. Usually Adam would say something regarding some STD or some horrible thing.
That's all. That's in your trip. So speaking of Richard Lee, so to give you a little backstory too. So when Richard Lee came to Amsterdam in, I think it was about 93 or 94, I believe it was, right? On that kind of first trip, came over, and this is when I had the CIA. And the CIA was the Oaksterdam of Amsterdam, basically, right? Because it was the American version of what we thought being a bunch of stoners in a spot would be. Like we actually carved it out, like, oh yeah, we're gonna grow plants here, and we're gonna do that, And then later, when reality kicked in and the Dutch cops came in, we're like, what the fuck do you think you're doing? And we're like, oh well, it's legal, of course, you know what I mean? And we kind of had them all scratching their heads. We had them all scratching their heads, and we managed to stay open for 2 years, right? We had 2 years, 2 good years, because of course nobody pays attention. But in those 2 years, we kind of by doing what we thought was what you're supposed to do, we kind of made it real, right? So then Richard, we went downstairs, picked him up in his wheelchair with our 2 friends. We dragged, the Amsterdam stairs are this steep, right? So we had to take him up the stairs. That was a mission in itself, right? We had two above and 1 below, and we were up these squeezing up these things. So we finally get him up there, and he sits, and he kind of wheels into our first kind of our foyer area, which is we had hemp plants that were about 12 foot tall, because we had a skylight there. So we had plants going straight up to the skylight. Oh, wow. And we had, books on sale. And that was kind of we had the grow room, and we had a little display set up. And we had a map on the wall with the coffee shops that we liked, and go to these coffee shops. We kind of had our little layout set up. And then we had this big kind of the long, big room. And it was also crooked. So he's on his wheelchair cruising around, looking at everything. And he had the biggest fucking smile on his face. And he literally, at that moment, I could see everything just happening. It was ding, 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 ding. And then later, when he went home, he started Oaksterdam sort of in his, that was his totally his fucking thing. It was he saw the light. He just saw, he saw, because we were different than a coffee shop. We were more of a
No. He came back and started the Bulldog Coffee
Shop.
Oh,
the Bulldog. Oh, yeah, exactly. He ripped. I mean, you can see he didn't think too far outside what was given to him. Look, here's a cool American spot. Here's the most fucking famous Dutch spot. And, he had no problem taking the names of both. He would have called it the CIA.
Well, it was a good, just so you know, it was an agreement with them.
Okay. Right. But I mean, also.
He said, if you ever make it to America, I will give it to you. And because they were disallowed from entering the country, and they did wind up coming. The kids all they came and visited. I'm trying to remember the lens, but it was a long time ago. I've been rocking the fanny pack that they the swag that they brought. But yeah, Richard entirely offered the American Bulldog Coffee Shop to them.
Right.
And it was,
So it was kind
he had their blessing.
So it was kind of fun to watch, though, because it was one of those things where, you know, America was the big arena, right? Like
Yeah.
Holland is always like this. It's a little village, really, right? So we could operate there, and we could kind of get around doing what. And I was like, you know, when I actually came to the facility and was going up and down the elevators and looking at grows down, you know, seeing all this stuff, I was just like, holy shit, dude, this is like what we did. Americanized, you know what I mean? Like everything taken to the next level. Like,
Well, and he's also from Texas, so they go big.
exactly. So no, I was pretty, but I was happy because he later, and I didn't think about it. I just was like, wow, you did it great, you know. And he was like, dude, this is all you. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, I did this all because of you guys, you know. And I was like really honored to hear that it was kind of like an inspiration for him to do what he did because we actually had a university idea, which we did the High Times Cannabis Cup in '93, right? So we organized that, put that together, and the part of the deal was we got an ad, right? So and then to us, we couldn't really think about what to advertise because we knew people weren't going to actually come to the spot, right? So we're like, oh, what can we do? So we made a quarter-page thing that we did, International Cannabis University, and it was a picture of a graphics bong with an apple pipe next to it, and we had some like hydroponics and some cloning paperwork below it, and it said, you know, send $5. Right. Our whole deal was we thought if 1,000 people send us $5, we made $5,000. We're pretty happy with that, right? So we thought that was going to be the end of it, and we got shit. We got like 100 people actually sent us money, and I was like, really, 100 people? Out of all that, like time, like we thought thousands, I mean, not even 100, maybe 68 or something like that. And there was a couple without money, but half of them were from prison, right? Like they were all people from prison. So somebody in prison like handed around a High Times and somehow smuggled out $5 and a fucking thing to people. Because I got all these like weird letters that were all in tiny little pieces of card. So it was kind of interesting. I was like, what? I was like, and then at the end it would say, and when I get out, I'm coming over there to see you. And I was like, there's another one. There's another one that's definitely from
I
prison.
get a lot of those letters.
And but it was pretty cool because it was like we did that in '93, so that came out I think in '94 because they put it in like the year later, and then that all was kind of like right at the beginning of California happening in 2015. So, and the weirdest part is I didn't realize it because everything changed around. We were just happened to be there then doing what we were doing. And everything was happening here, and people were actually coming to Amsterdam with $10,000 ready to spend money, somebody else's money, of course, and came to find us out, you know. And then later we find out that it's all because that was happening, you know, that was bubbling at the surface, and people were actually, you know, you go to Amsterdam, pick up seeds from these guys, and there was no internet, you know what I mean? So everything was like. Definitely like it was back in the day. It was all, you know, word of mouth, and people had to know about you. And when it came to seeds, everybody knew about Sensi, which I worked at, and then everybody knew Positronics when you got there. But besides that, there really wasn't much going on. You guys have what have you guys been doing for, like, what do you tell your students for seeds and things like that now? What's your sort of go-to of how to people start after they've graduated? What's their first? Is it like get clones from somebody, or do you guys have any kind of like you have your own clones in house, right?
We actually.
Used to at least. Back
well, so yes, I guess that there's a flow of history here. Pre-federal raid. Okay, so I mentioned at the top the first federal raid on the Oakland Cannabis Buyers Cooperative, the OCBC, that resulted in the Supreme Court. Fast forward to 2012, and Oaksterdam was raided. Richard Lee was raided. Mm-hmm. Prior to that, Richard had a nursery that supplied all of our plant needs. When the raid happened that day, April 2nd of 2012, Richard was forcibly retired, and the school. I took the school, the museum, and eventually I also rescued the gift shop. And it went separate ways, let's say, from the dispensary. The nursery did not survive the federal raid. Big Mike Parker did try. He was poised to get an equity license here in Oakland, and he suffered a heart attack and died 2 years ago now, this last April. So the nursery did not make it, and we had to restructure the school to survive on our own. We were very much a part of the entire family with a dispensary and, the Blue Sky coffee shop that was SR71 and Bulldog and the original Oakland, Oaksterdam area. And so just the transformation since then, and it's been interesting hearing some of these stories again. And I feel like I must have met you in Oakland, but I was the one that Richard sent out to battle all the time, so I was not always there.
Yeah, I came there with
Do you remember?
I was with Chris Bliss. Remember Chris Bliss, of course, right?
So we did talk, and
Yeah.
that swag was from you. So you actually mentioned something important, and this is why we don't tout Oaksterdam University as the first in the world, because we pay homage to that original idea, and we just say we're America's first. So I don't know if you ever noticed that or cared, but
I don't think we were acknowledged.
Homage to the originals.
I don't think we were ever really acknowledged, because we never. In the end of the day, no one showed up because it was a stoner thing, and we got our money, and nobody ever came.
Well, there's the Amsterdam College. What was it called? The
Cannabis College. That was years
Yeah,
later.
Cannabis
That was
College.
a few years later. I think that, but when
that
you,
was really just a museum exhibition. It was not. I mean, nobody
Yeah.
did classes like we did.
No.
So we could probably claim the first and beat our chest over it. But I think part of
At the end
what
of
we
the
try
day-
to do at Amsterdam is point out whose shoulders we stand on.
Yeah,
thank you.
and it's I worked with Cloverleaf, and I've worked with other university type educational things, and it's just it's a type of I like to teach people how to grow weed because it's like a pretty cool opportunity, because it's one of those things where as a grower we all fucked up a million things and wasted a lot of time and energy, and sometimes you look back and you go like, wow, if I just had understood a little bit more, I would have done so much better. And that's the part of, I think, growing that we all like, is the learning part. And so teaching is just part of learning, right? So at the end of the day, I think it's inevitable that, and it sucks when people start to fight over education, which is what happens. You see how that goes too. Everyone starts to be, I'm the first and I'm the most and and I hate all that shit, because that's the part that I'm like, hey, you know what?
So do I, because Amsterdam is the first and the most. We talk to a lot of these people. A lot of these folks are our alumni, and we could not be everywhere all the time. And so, Richard had a very open feeling about that, as did Richard, and I try to, carry on uplifting and continuing to spread the knowledge, because really it lifts all ships. Yeah. And what I hope for is that these other organizations are not just focused on the dollar bill, that they're focused on, what people need to know as they're going into this industry, that this is not actually legal yet, and that you can still get busted driving while black and land your ass in jail. And if you are a person of color, you're that much more likely to land your ass in jail. We have people going to prison for cannabis in 2019. We're still ripping babies away from their parents this year.
I think it was 616,000 people for cannabis last year, which you're just like, really? Like, it's very heavy. Obviously, if you look on a map, it's going to be certain areas are,
18,500 in New York City alone.
Yeah, which is, New York's changing now. Everywhere is on the. Hopefully, I think now it is going to get pushed quicker, but everywhere's kind of on the right move, it seems. When it comes to cannabis, because now I think the biggest deal is like living in Amsterdam for so long. I think that the first thing people have to get used to, because here people don't smoke on the streets, and it's not like as much. I mean, people do, but it's getting used to that kind of culture, because the culture clash is the fact that like people who drink can get away with murder because they can sit and drink at any cafe or bar or whatever, and people with weed, it's like you end up at the back of a place behind a fucking dumpster smoking a joint, and you're like, it always looks bad. Like the optics are never good, because we're never given a nice sort of clean place to fucking smoke. So we end up smoking in these shady spots, hanging out with people like Dave.
No, I point out all the time with legalization that there's a safe comfortable place for people to enjoy alcohol in, and it's called a bar, so why are we not providing consumption spots that are also safe, well lit, air conditioned? Now all of that has gone out the damn window with COVID-19, so I no longer worry about that so much. But it really was ultimately, I think that if I were to look back, aside from just the education and the lives we've touched and changed and inspired through Oaksterdam, because damn, everywhere I go, it doesn't matter what room I'm in, if it's a Zoom room or a policy room or a conference room, a third of the room is Oaksterdam. And I realized that it's students like you that went out and changed the world in your neck of the woods. And oftentimes it's who we directly affected as students. It's our students that went out and made it happen. It was Prop 19, though, that is, probably the most glorious failure of our life. When you look at, we lost that particular election, but we were winning the war. And the cojones that it took for Richard to write and then Jeff to join as co-proponent, and also we had a hand in rewriting some of that language. It was the pressure of a statewide voter initiative in the fifth largest economy in the world that forced our then Governor Schwarzenegger to finally sign a Senate bill that was a decrim bill that he had vetoed 4 times. He finally signed it. And the next year, the criminal justice reports reflected an 89% drop in arrests in California. 89%. That's 9 out of 10 that did not get arrested, never mind go to jail and do all of those other things. And the key difference there, and this is what I want to remind people, is not just legalization, because that only counts if you're 21 and up. It's decriminalization, because that counts if you're 20 and under, person of color, all of these other things. And I'm not going to say that all the problems are gone, but that change alone probably impacted more lives than I will ever know. And now with the changes we fought for in Prop 64 to ensure community restoration funds, we're now in a situation to find educating those that have been formerly incarcerated, and perhaps even while they're incarcerated now that we're online. I also just noticed that my battery is low, so I may have a temporary audio weirdness.
So I learned my lesson with AirPods. Take one out now and put it in the charger.
And then charge it.
And then
it's funny. I figured that out and didn't think of it. Well done.
No, you keep one in, put one in, and this way. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, she's got it.
I learned that my first show.
Now we lost her.
It kicked out, though.
Oh, it's gone.
No, it's back.
Now we got you.
It's back.
We got you.
Good. Yeah, so I adjusted in my ear and then hang up on the interview. So it's like, this whole time I'm sitting on my hands, like, please don't touch your ears the whole time. Yeah.
Just don't sneeze, otherwise people might get
It's
nervous.
all uncharted territory for us all. We're trying to figure out how to.
Oh, good Lord! Yeah, if I get through the interview without hanging up on it, I win. So.
Absolutely is a win.
Yeah.
But I want to hear about what's new coming up for you. What is Oaksterdam looking like? What does Jeff have on the horizon? What causes are you fighting for? And, we had Joe on who spoke a little bit about the Last Prisoner Project, but probably knew just as much as Adam and I did. So maybe if you had a minute, you can go over anything you know about that project, how people can get involved, how your attempted alignment is going, or the floor is yours.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it, Dave. Yeah, I'll start with a brief update about Oaksterdam, and I'll start with Mr. Jones, Jeff from the Patient ID Center. That first part of the name patient kind of put himself out of business. Kiara just said that she can't hear. Can you hear me okay?
I hear you.
I hear you.
Oh, maybe.
Right,
No, she's on a delay. That's the thing.
Oh, okay. So it might just be her.
Yeah,
no
she's
worries. I'm going to actually turn up the volume so I can hear you better.
Yeah, she's on a delay, so that's fine. She's just seeing what we.
All right, so take two. So Mr. Jones, Jeff Jones, the horticulturist extraordinaire, quiet crusader, he has flipped the patient badge business into a badge business. We've been doing, student ID cards for years, and they're freaking awesome student ID cards. Well, now that regulation is requiring photo ID cards for everyone, it's real easy. You can just email the photos and the names, and he turns it around in a day and gets it back in the mail, priority if you need, to anywhere in the country. So he's shifting, or has been shifted. So that's cannabis badges. And then as far as, and he's also, of course, still teaching. I put him to work. Right now, he is helping wrangle the children's. We have a 9, a 6, and a fresh 3-year-old. We had a daughter 3 years ago. So, and we're done. You don't have to ask. Yes, 3 and done.
Done deal. It's a done deal.
That is a done deal for the Joneses. You do not need to keep up either. No, our kids are phenomenal. And our 3-year-old, who's also fluent in Spanish, regularly confounds us when we're trying to figure out if she's saying see as in look or see as in yes. So as far as Oaksterdam goes, like many major institutions, we made the major shift to go virtual. Now, we went online back in 2007 with asynchronous, like self-paced online courses. You can just take it in your own pace, on your own time, in your underwear, or however you'd like. And some people will chew through it over a long weekend, and other folks can take the full 6 months to finish the course. But with COVID-19 and a full batch of semester students only in week 10 out of 14, we had 2 things happen in March. First, the fire, and then the shutdown order. With that, we had a really important promise to keep to those students. And so over the next 4 to 6 weeks, my amazing crew, the staff, the faculty, our dean of faculty, the director of online, did a heavy lift. And our facilitator, Elizabeth, has been facilitating these virtual, live, interactive classes every week at the same time. So it's called synchronous learning. And it's an opportunity to interact with the instructors, with your fellow students. In fact, I was joking with Dave earlier that, if you were whispering back and forth with your fellow students, because the good neighbor policy counted for in the class as much as outside the class. So if you were being that jerk whispering in class, I'd have shushed you. But on this new online learning platform, you can go into a chat room and just about what the teacher's saying. We have an instructor who's teaching live. We have another instructor who's answering all the questions that are being typed in. We have the live facilitator and then an assistant facilitator. So it's a heavily produced and managed program that I'm hearing is almost better than having to slog your way all the way to Oakland and pay for a hotel and flights and travel. That was always the hardest part.
If you could smoke in the class,
expert.
If you could smoke in the class, everybody would be there. They'd be like, this is it.
You are not allowed to smoke on campus, but what you do in your own room on your own time with Avatar up. I do require, though, pants if you are going to be on camera in that way. Don't care what's out of frame, but if you are, yes, please show up to synchronous class with pants.
Dave's totally out.
It can be pajama pants. It doesn't have to be real pants.
Who runs the breeding program for Oaksterdam?
Well, we have several instructors that fancy themselves as breeders. And so right now, you asked a question earlier about the horticulture program and how we start people off. And the answer is yes. We have classes on both seeds and, taking cuttings from mothers. We touch currently on just the basics about some other propagation techniques, tissue culture. Although we don't have a class on that yet, it is hopefully on the 2021-2022 horizon to produce that. In the meantime, we've got a lot of webinar opportunities to start kicking that out. If you are interested in such a thing and you are fishing, I'm always looking for amazing faculty. So we should have that conversation.
Well, look, see that guy over there with the Puffco right next to him. I listen. I have it on pretty good authority. He knows his shit when it comes
I hear
to
he knows a thing or two.
about a thing or two.
It was the other guy with the beard that knows it all. The beard. Once I cut the beard off, I forgot everything. That's it. It's all over.
Nobody recognizes you.
Yeah, and I don't remember anything about growing either. I walked in the room and I just stood.
Like Samson, once your hair was cut.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Exactly.
You kept it. It was like little bits of food in your beard, like little bits of knowledge for later, and you just suck on your beard for
nutrition and knowledge. Nutrition and knowledge all in one.
Never leave home without your towel. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Well, I think we just lost half the chat gang when you said everyone has to wear pants. So that
only
right
on
out
camera.
there.
Only on camera.
Yeah.
Deal breaker.
We just ask if you're on camera. Like I said, if it's out of camera, I'm not too sad I'm wearing. My husband will not forgive me if I suggest I'm not wearing pants. But let's just say pajamas have ruled the day for several months now. Yeah.
I don't think I've gotten dressed in the past 6 weeks. So
how did I start
completely
talking about
lied.
wearing pants? I was talking about Amsterdam. Damn it. So let me just
pull it back.
I'm really good at drawing people off their given topic. So go right ahead.
No, and I'm easily distractible. So we are now launching bud tending as well. We just completely overhauled business. It's unlike anything on the market right now. Always the bleeding edge of cannabis education. So we have the business program, the horticulture program, and of course now bud tending, as I just mentioned. So we're really narrowing in on workforce development. What's exciting, we did win the award for a contract with Los Angeles to teach equity individuals. We have been teaching equity individuals since before it was a policy called equity. And many of them, because of their education, were able to, they felt so empowered by their education. They were first to rise up and get those early licenses. So I'm proud to say that the first Black equity owner in Oakland and San Francisco were both Oaksterdam alumni, our graduates. So I'm starting to reach out with the new grant money that's allowed. It is a free choice. So those folks that live in the cities and counties that received grant money for equity, they can contact their local cannabis or grants program manager and request tuition to go to Oaksterdam.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's
nice.
Fantastic.
We've been working with minorities for medical marijuana. I would recommend anybody interested in around the country looking them up, because Roz with M4MM is doing boot camps around the country as well. We've been participating in educational boot camps. We also started a subsidiary that did the grading for the state of Missouri. So that has been interesting, to say the least. Just surviving the conspiracy theory storm as we speak, but so far so good.
You have a good conspiracy theory? Tell us.
Oh no, there's a few. Oh gosh, put on your tinfoil hats, boys.
Don't even go there. He's coming.
They have one.
Moving on.
It's coming.
Moving on. I'm trying to work with the Last Prisoner Project. I met Mary a long time ago. She came, it was at least a year ago, she came and visited me on the Oaksterdam campus in Oakland. And I was so impressed with her and the ideas that they had. I recently reached out to one of the managers of the Last Prisoner Project, had a wonderful conversation with Arlene, and just talked through what we might be able to do. lastprisonerproject.org. You can also find them on Instagram at Last Prisoner Project. And reaching out to them directly is how you donate directly. But the Last Prisoner Project is really working on several prompts through Prop 64, the California initiative that passed in 2016. One of the things that is provided for is scrubbing your record. So if you have a cannabis conviction, you can apply to have your record, have that removed from your record so that it's no longer affecting, cannabis, any type of record affects so many things in life, from the ability to get housing, to education, to jobs, to just across I'm realizing that I'm getting a hot spot in the late afternoon. Let me just shift. Do you like my trippy background there?
I like the Mona Lisa smoking a joint over your left shoulder.
You picked up on that, huh?
Yeah.
Awesome. So it's important to not just remove these items from people's records, but also set them up with jobs, with careers. I mean, right now we're even releasing prisoners and speeding up prisoner release, and we're not providing for homes or jobs. We're just releasing them into homelessness. So this is an opportunity now that we are online as well to reach out to incarcerated individuals before their release to start their education, if that particular prison or jail allows for it. Last Prisoner Project is also always looking for more connections to understand, because for the most part, it's driven by the individuals or the families of individuals that are incarcerated, and that's how the relationship with the prison or jail begins. So they find out about the incarcerated person and find out, the backstory, and then if everything's in place, then they can start working towards their release, working towards education, working towards community reentry programs, housing. So it's really an all-encompassing program that has quite an illustrious board, and it's important that they're out there. There's a couple groups out there specifically working in the cannabis industry towards this, as well as, the NAACP has been working on this for, over 100 years. So make no mistake that prohibition and the laws that put people in jail are an extension of Jim Crow. And I'm here to try to teach our students to make sure that as they are demanding policy reforms, that they are also keeping cannabis opportunities, and businesses, small businesses, are allowed to join, that we're not creating monopolies. Small business is where women, veterans, and people of color survive and thrive. So it's important that we demand that for these special interest groups. But at the end of the day, even if you don't want to save the world, it's better for your bottom line. You're more likely to be able to get into the industry yourself on some level if there's not a monopoly set up. Competition is good. It's good for the customers. It's good for the supply chain. It's good to have options. It's good to have choices. It's freaking America. So we try to teach people to demand descheduling and decriminalization as they navigate legalization, banking, 280E, all the fun stuff. And we teach you how to grow weed.
Compliance. That's
You
what
said that 4-letter word, 280E.
My middle name.
Yeah, compliance. Your middle name. Oh my God.
Oh, I thought you said weed was your middle name. All right,
that's yes.
Fine. Yeah. So I would encourage people to check out Last Prisoner Project, and I'm looking forward to working with them on some level or just admiring them from afar. However that relationship works out, they are a valuable addition to the cannabis community. And if you want to learn more about equity, on Monday, there will be a landing page with OaksterdamUniversity.com/equity that will help people follow it's kind of like following the breadcrumbs right now, because a lot of the cities and counties, they don't know what they're necessarily doing yet. They have not yet set up their own programs. So we're going to figure it out together. And in the meantime, we continue to offer scholarships through success centers. So you can also look up successcenters.org to reach out to them if you're interested in attending Oaksterdam University on a scholarship. You've got to reach their gauntlet. And once they know you're serious, they'll facilitate that.
Right. Cool. I was saying earlier that I think Oakland's it's always been the tinderbox of everything when it came to the civil rights and cannabis related issues, just because of location. I mean, it's like right below the best growing region in producing the most cannabis in the world. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. When I was looking at a map of the production in California compared to the rest of the world, it was like phenomenal. It was crazy. It was like more than entire countries of other places when it came to, and even more than, and as far as anywhere else in the States, and operating up until legalization, fine. Everything was fine. Everything was fine.
Well,
Everything was fine until it got legal. Then it fucked up everything. I mean, as far as the people who had been in it the longest, like the people who had done the most work, been in it the longest, are the least likely to succeed in this whole new game, just because it's such a hard thing to backpedal and shift gears and change what you've already been doing, because you're like, wait a minute, it works perfect. Why would I want to not do that? It's like, nope, you can't cut it down and then lower the lights and then finish the rest and then cut that because it has to all go in one batch, and then the rules start to become like, oh, well, that's not how I do it. I like to cut down and then drop the lights and let the bottoms fill in and get everything the most out of the plant. It's like, you can't, sorry, you can't do that anymore. Now you have to do it all in one batch, and you're like, that sucks, and it kind of takes the wind out of the grower, I think, and that's.
I think for the artiste, it's definitely less fun, and that's what for many years what we've done is just help the tree hugging, crystal gripping, pot smoking hippies transition. Some of them are now
kicking and fighting. Most of them. No.
Well, they're fighters by nature, and you mentioned Oakland. I mean, let's be real. Oakland is the home of every Black Panthers and the Hell's Angels, and I mean, let's be real. There's an awful lot of social unrest and civil unrest that stems from this area. Yeah. But in many ways, it's the fight is real, whether it's, for farm workers' rights, which also stem from Oakland. Mm-hmm. I think there's something important to be said for standing up when it's not popular. And those that remember 2009 and 2010 remember how unpopular we became with a group of folks that didn't want to see it be legal. Mm-hmm. We spent the first part of that campaign gearing up for opposition because we were fully expecting, the DEA and the DAs and the prosecutors and the sheriffs to be against us. We did not expect, our people, the hippies in the hills, to have bullets named after us. So it's change is hard, and what doesn't kill you definitely makes you stronger.
For sure, and. Yeah, and cannabis is always going to adjust. That's the one thing it's so noticeable. Like as time goes on and new generations get involved, and you sort of see how they might have different values, and people look at plant different. People now think of concentrates and don't even think about. Some people don't give a shit about how it's going to grow. They just want to jam it into a fucking tube and blast it and turn it into something else. You're like, all right, you guys are there's a less appreciation than.
It's all the same after processed, right?
Well, yeah, if you don't, I think if you don't give a fuck, it's like that maybe. But for a real grower, every flower is, needs to be supported properly, and air ventilation, everything needs to be correct if you want to feel good. And you should never be able to. You should almost never be happy. You should always be a little bit. Could do this better if you want, because they can make you better. Make you a better grower.
You're never done improving.
Yeah,
you're never done.
Because the minute you pat yourself on the back is when I tell people it's don't do that. It's like the worst idea ever. That's when everything falls apart. Like, oh no.
That's when your shit springs a leak and like the comet comes through the roof and your dog dies. Like, no, don't do that. Yeah. No.
Dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
Yeah, it's true though. It's like the times when I've had the just real happy with myself, and it's like, fuck, that's when they get the phone call at 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. It's like, dude, your shit's on fire. You're like, what?
I don't think water's supposed to be coming from there, man.
Too soon. All right.
I lived it, and so
it's the same with children. Let me just tell you, I have learned as a mom that the second I think, oh, I got this figured out, then that is the moment they will never ever do or say or believe or be convinced by that ever again. Yeah,
I have an 8-year-old. I have an 8-year-old boy, so I'm right in there with you in the zone, in the time zone at least. Not with a kid, not with the numbers of kids. The numbers of kids, I was happy. One and done was my motto at that one. So that's it.
You can at least make the older one help with the younger one a little. So
that I believe, but at the same time, mine's
not too much.
My kid is like having the best puppy, where he just like straight to the group of people, knows everybody, best, like bam. I'm just like, wow, this kid is social beyond my level of social, kids. So Not in the day of COVID
I'm sure
days. But no, he actually was, and he was a trendsetter. He was wearing his mask. I was looking at 2016. He was already wearing a mask because he thought it was cool. And every photo of him, he's wearing a mask. I'm like, this looks like what he should be wearing. And now he won't wear a mask because he's like, fuck that, I ain't wearing that. I'm like, what?
Yeah, my kid wore a frog hat for like 3 years. So
It's for sure.
Yeah. Now the kids are, and it's important too to realize a lot of people don't understand because they think, oh, a seed and I'll plant it, and they, it's like apples. You plant that seed, you might get a crab apple.
Mark, pay attention.
Mark won't even get a crab apple because his shit would die at an inch and a half tall.
Yep.
He's the guy who needs to go to your course. Like, he won't listen to anything. He won't listen to anything.
I got to tell you, even I don't kill plants with the frequency that I used to after living with Mr. Jones. I want to be clear. I am the science and policy wonk, not the horticulture instructor. That's why Oaksterdam is awesome. It's because we have faculty that stick to their lane. But yeah, no, I'm telling you, our faculty will take you by the hand, whether you have killed every tomato plant you've ever started, or whether you're a master grower and you're just trying to increase your yield and solve that nagging problem that you can't quite figure out. And I really would look forward to talking with you about joining our faculty. So we should have that conversation.
Well, now that we're in a digital world and we can all be wherever we want to be, probably.
I'm no longer limited by geography, and Oaksterdam is now in the ether. So we are no longer a school you come to, we come to you.
Well, Adam can teach a breeding class, and if you have an instructor spot that I could fill for just being a blowhard who's never mastered anything,
smartass.
I'm that guy.
The sidekick smartass class with Dave.
Sidekick, yeah, I'm good at that. I'm good at that.
The heckler in chief.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm no Mike Pence, but I'm good at it.
Indeed you are. Yeah, I looked up a couple of previous episodes and saw a couple of the comments, and I was like, good Lord, what did I agree to? All right.
Yeah.
Well, no, I only had one
terrible
show, and we're deleting it from the archive.
Are we?
Delete.
We're not deleting.
No.
We never delete.
No.
Not on purpose.
No, you get this is actually how you get more people to watch, is you talk about the did you hear? Oh my goodness. And then they'll go watch the show, and
we have a whole show of that.
Piss off more people.
Adam found out some interesting information. I don't know when you plan on releasing it, but some of that interesting information about a friend that we found out that we haven't talked about on the air.
Oh, no, he's really making up some bullshit.
I'll send you a text. I don't even want to say it out loud.
He's going to break all kinds of rules. I can feel it.
Rule breaking.
I already felt rule breaking in my bones.
How to Make Donuts with Dave. That's a good podcast.
Hey, Dave got me to break rules apparently in Los Angeles. So
what you were?
Yeah, but the statute of limitations is done with that one. It was 11 years ago, so it's totally over with.
We cool.
Yeah.
We cool. I just don't want people think I regularly, like breaking the law.
I got to tell you, I just realized this. That photo that I got to take, that I consider to be me. Again, I shouldn't be the person I shouldn't be there. Those three should have been together. But for me to be standing there to take that photo, I love it. I show it to everybody. I admit it. It's the first thing out of the gate. Here you go. But that photo, that guy that I went there with, my friend at the time, didn't speak to me ever after that, because he said, how could I take that photo and not have him come in, because he had paid for the whole weekend and that would have been his thing, and why didn't I do that?
Photoshop,
and literally we got off the plane.
We can Photoshop his face in and you can send it to him now.
He called me and said, I don't want to talk to you anymore. And I said, well, okay, I'll take the photo. It was. If I said, if you're gonna break up with me just because of that photo, then we're not gonna be friends anymore. Then that's the way it's got to be, I guess.
Photo that broke.
Well, I'm so thankful that he came to class and that he.
She didn't get the photo either. You didn't get the photo either.
I didn't get the photo either. I had to go. I had to work.
Wow.
I know. There's so many cool. I didn't get a photo with Redman. I didn't get a photo with the producers of Friends. Like, I'm the one that was like, when one of the Facebook founders and one of the it's all these freaking Lance Bass. I didn't get a photo with any of these people that came. You
need a sidekick like me. I would never let an opportunity go by without making you take that photo.
I was Richard and Jeff's sidekick. I like to call myself I was between the rock and the hard place, between Richard and Jeff. So I was working my ass off. I didn't have time to stop and smile pretty for the camera. But I look back now and I regret it. I wish I had made a point of it, but I'm the crappiest self-promoter I know, which is why I would like to promote Oaksterdam's. We're doing now online on Instagram. We're doing High Tea with Kiara, and Kiara is our government affairs counsel. She is our tip of the spear in DC in policy, but she's currently living in Oregon. So she's actually an old school Oregonian. So don't worry, she's not too DC. But she does have interesting background. She's a former prosecutor from Florida. So she is so passionate about the equity industry. The equity issue in the industry to make sure that it's addressed and uplifted, because she watched from the prosecutor's side what was going on with these families, and even watching families in her own office with brothers, sons, daughters being busted, and the ramifications to their families, because it's not just the person who's busted that has to deal with it. It's also their kids, their wives, their husbands, their families that pay that price, sometimes a heavy price. And so Kiara's doing some fun stuff on High Tea Tuesdays. And then we have a senior sesh. So tell your mom or your dad about the senior sesh on Facebook, because we know our seniors. And Laura Graziano, who is a certified senior advocate, runs those senior sessions. And so it's a lot of fun if you just want to check out some Oaksterdam flavor, some student life. We also have 3 free classes online. You can take a sample class on seeds. So if you want to check that out, it's just a sample module from our Hort program. And then we have 2 free programs that are pretty phenomenal. One is on advocacy and advocacy in the industry. We decided to make that free quite a while ago. I see others have decided to charge for it. Kind of missed the point. But the other is cannabis as an exit strategy from opiates. So if you have anybody that you know, or someone inside you that needs to understand the exit, that cannabis is not the gateway. It is in fact an exit strategy. So by all means, go to oaksterdamuniversity.com/online and you can check out those free programs as well. So
yeah, I was always a big advocate for like a dab rehab or something, because I was like, man, this is exactly what they want. They want to just do something all the time and get their little kit and everything, and you kind of it would wean them off so easily because it's good access to good dabs. Perfect. Yeah, indeed. There's some really interesting programs as well with entheogenics and the MAPS for anybody that's interested in. Like I said, that painting behind me, let me see if I can get my finger the right direction. There's actually a body right here. So if you can see the 2 legs sticking up, right there. Yeah. And then this is his trip. A patient painted that and gave that to Jeff. So whenever I look at George Fuller's paintings, I want to take mushrooms or drop a hit of acid and stare at it for the rest of the night. I have not yet, but I'm looking forward to it once my kids are older. Damn kids. Always messing up my trips. Messing up my trips. Psychedelics when the 3-year-old wants dinner. Oh yeah, we're gonna trip balls for sure. No, you look at the kid. But I can still work on policy reform and education. Yeah. I know, it's awkward. Everyone kept inviting me to be judges at all these cups, and I kept having to say no because I was either pregnant or breastfeeding. And now I'm like, I'm available. I'm free. Nope. Well,
there's usually a cannabis cup every weekend, so I'm sure we can find
I know. I missed the boat. That's just life.
Well, it's like I think we all got kind of tired of the events, and now all of a sudden we're like jonesing for events. Now you're jonesing for events. You can be now like that could be for events. That could be a whole that could be a whole show right there. Jonesing for events. Be like, why would you technically we shouldn't be, but we are. Like we're attracted
Yeah,
to.
I think it's the human connection that we miss a little bit, but I don't miss the schlep, and
Nope.
being able to refocus has been really good for the school to refocus our energies and move light years ahead. So it's, there's a lot of silver linings having Mr. Jones home a lot more often. It's definitely making certain things trickier. I am dreading the back to school when I'm also simultaneously having two kids on school Zooms at the same time, and I'm found crying in the dark in a closet somewhere because I can't get them.
Welcome to parenthood during COVID.
Yeah, good times. Good times.
You keep it together and you drink and cry in the closet.
No, well, I try not to do heavy day drinking, but cannabis is definitely helpful. And
I'm up to like 250 milligrams of edibles a day. It's really getting.
Oh wow! I would just nap through the day if I. Well, it doesn't take much with edibles for me, but that's why you have to understand your consumption and what works for you. So I would recommend you try our science class. It is some kind knowledge, and I did try the science class 11 years ago. I still have the books because I taught that class in LA. We have an even better science class online now. We've got a couple PhDs and researchers that teach the class. I'm not even a substitute teacher anymore. I just run the school, and the amazing staff and faculty have really just taken the curriculum to another level. And we still have more to do. There's a lot on the planning board. So I'm going to take you up on applying as faculty and connect you with the dean of faculty. So that that's him, not me. Trust me. Move that forward. Oh no, I know. No, I'm.
Oh, no,
well,
Dave,
I can see both of you.
The shit talking class sounds like a good.
Oh, I can teach that class.
I like that class.
Yeah.
I don't know if people would pay for that, but maybe. Yeah, maybe a free class.
Yeah.
No, our free classes are actually really valuable. So I don't want to. I want to be careful how much I harsh that gig, but. No, it's really been a good time. Figuring all this out has been hell on wheels. But now that we're there, it's been. I'm a silver miner, so I always look for that silver lining. And I hope that I'll go back and talk to the team and see if we can figure out a done deal for Oaksterdam.
There you go. Well, we'll
send you a list. To bring it up.
We'll send you the list of all of our done deals, so you can just tell your students that they can get a discount right away with that.
Oh well, we'll definitely do that. We will for sure give your sponsors some business. The students definitely love a good deal. Yeah,
well, we should see if Illuminar, if we get a lot of Oaksterdam respondees, see if Illuminar wants to do a separate giveaway just for people who've gone through the Oaksterdam program.
Well, I think
that would be fun to do.
Yeah, I think they should also, but I think also we should definitely get. You should find a garden that we can get them to sponsor, so that you can get some medicine, however it happens, whichever direction. But just something with Illuminar going, because it sounds like you guys are.
Yeah, we have 3 online gardens right now, and I think we're working on bringing 2 other ones online for the instructors to teach from. So, cool. Yeah, we would definitely be into doing that. Or maybe if you are teaching and you are using the light, if we can't swing one. But one way or another, no, we're definitely interested in doing that. And on a side note, we did drop the prices. What?
Get a robot growing over there with a beard on it or something. We're just, I'll do it from here. Like,
so that was one of the conspiracy theories, that everything was AI and no humans were involved. And I'm like, boy, if I could do that, man, I'd be a billionaire by now.
That's what the lettuce farmers
there were
want
lots
to do
of
to
humans
cannabis.
Involved. No humans were harmed, but lots of humans were involved. So, yeah. But anybody that does check out those free classes, and ultimately, I can't remember if I mentioned this earlier, but we did drop the price of all of our online classes just for economic relief and stimulus for folks. So our prices are just low for everybody. You don't have to necessarily go find a coupon, but I will definitely look to see if we can do a special something for you guys, or maybe we do a giveaway every so often for one of these online classes, and we can get into the monthly sponsor list somehow. So definitely look forward to figuring that out. And I'm seeing the clock at 5:57. I'm pretty sure my husband is going to release the Kraken.
Thanks for sticking it out.
in the next couple
you're
minutes.
burning. You're melting. You're burning up.
I
in
know.
the,
Pretty soon, I'm just going to be
you're burning up in the atmosphere. You're burning up in the atmosphere
you know
right now.
what? It's very Star Trek-esque. I just need the.
Get the noise. We need a lot of Star Trek noises today. We just needed a whole Star Trek soundboard because everything is about Star Trek. Star Trek here. Star Trek.
That's actually kind of awesome.
See, look at that.
All right. Well, live long and prosper. And
perfect ending.
Dave, it was so good to see you again. Adam, you as well. I really appreciate you inviting me on and reminding me of all those good old days that I forgot.
Well, those are the best days.
Night.
Those are the best ones.
Thank you, viewers, and check us out at Oaksterdam. Thank you so much. Bye.
Take care. Boom. And then there were two.
And then Adam and Dave talked about the week in review. What happened this week? What happened in Mark's life? Mark, tell us.
No.
Mark's hair grew bigger.
Did you see the picture?
Yes. It did
that I sent? That I marked?
I look totally like him.
Put that up, Mark.
Can you pull it up?
What picture
Show
of what?
Everybody.
Show everybody.
That photo I found that I was scrolling through some Instagram ad and it was you in a mask.
Jesus. Okay.
Scrolly.
You got to put that one up.
You guys, look at you commanding. That was cool to have Dale come on and Joe. Your buddy said that was the You show. That was a Dave show.
Yeah, but
Dave created
there should there'll be a done deal, right?
I guess.
For Wana, no, because Wana is probably sold
at
the 5280
Green
Farms.
5280 challenge. We're gonna do it together. Oh, look at that! Oh my God, it's total Mark.
Right?
It's so.
Am I right?
Right. So Mark.
So you.
That's ridiculous.
Is that up on YouTube?
Yeah, it's up on YouTube.
I won't see it till the delay comes up.
Oh, it's so you.
Blow up doll got a leak. Ay.
Yeah, that was a good one. That thing looked weird. Like it looked like his hair was just fake put on though, or something. I don't know. It looked strange.
No, that's so him.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, a fake version of him. Like I said, like a blow up doll. You saw that blow up doll history thing that people were passing around. Like you Google who invented blow up dolls. You never did that. Come on. Did you do it?
No, what do you have to do?
You have to Google it. I won't do it.
What do I say? Who invented blow up doll?
Yep. And then your mind will be blown. You'll be
oh man.
Blown.
Kablamo.
Literally blown. Literally blown. Your head.
No fucking way.
Blown.
Get the fuck. That's not true.
What are you talking about?
Really?
I'm showing you.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Yeah. You can look it up. Look it up yourself.
I guess I'm going to have to get rid of all my blow up dolls. I can't use them anymore.
I know. That was fun. I think TSK threw that up there for us, Mr. Two.
Oh, goodness.
He wanted to make sure we knew that fact.
Yep.
That was his link.
But come on, you got to think of the funny thing is all his methed up soldiers on the Rhine screwing plastic fucking blow up dolls during the Blitzkrieg. Fuck.
And on that note, so anyway.
Wait.
This is Dave's last show.
That was a nugget.
That was a nugget. Oh, that was a nugget. Yeah, that was a nugget.
What about our friend that he texted us about?
Which one? A bad visual. Mark, get with the buttons.
The friend that he texted us about.
What friend? What are you talking about now?
Oh, you didn't see that?
No.
Oh.
No, we'll talk about that later.
Okay,
what? Are we getting texts now? We're getting texts?
WhatsApp.
In the WhatsApp.
Oh my God! What is this? Something bad?
The guy that you wouldn't talk about.
Oh, yeah. No, of course. That was what I wanted. No, it was perfect. Because we forgot to talk about it. For all the Mitch lovers, for all you Mitch lovers, I just want to give you an update. Because we didn't know that he has changed his name to Brother Moses. He is now known as Hoodoo Moses. if you want to check him out. But he's got classes. He's got all sorts of shit. I was very impressed. I was like, good job. Mitch is teaching all sorts of esoteric, weird shit.
I'm not saying shit.
Yeah.
I love Mitch. I love the old Mitch.
I love the old Mitch. Bring back the old Mitch, the pre-Moses, but he is now officially Moses. And this is all told to me by the kid. The kid keeps up. The kid fucking... See, you can't hide it from the kid.
You can't hide from the kid. No.
Detective the Kid.
The kid. Hey, did you hear about Mitch? I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, he changed his name to Brother Moses. I'm like, what? Hold on. He's like, you gotta look him up. Who do Moses on Instagram? I looked it up. I was like, holy shit, he's teaching classes. So
he has more followers than the Adam Dunn Show.
He does.
So be careful.
I know he's killing it. He's like killing the game. So once again, he knows how to do it. We're limping along. We can't do shit.
I told you the first
without Mitch. Without Mitch, we're nothing.
Businesses I worked at, Mitch was the social media guru. He was brought on as a guy who understands social media marketing and how to get the word out. And he has not failed. He has not failed.
Anyway, if you want to check him out, there he is. I was impressed. Good on you. Good on you, Mitch. Good on you, Mitch. Sorry. Moses.
Maybe reach out and we'll have him on the show.
I could. He was on the you have to go make a noise. Can you do the show?
The screech?
What? Can't do a noise? Yeah, that show. Whatever. Yeah.
Oh.
Horse show.
Oh.
Can't say it. Can't say the words.
They're responsible for it.
He was on a show of the guy that he used to work for. Put it that way. Boom. And that was like the first time I'd seen him in months. So I was like, holy shit, Mitch is back. But that was pre-Moses. So anyway, I just wanted to update everybody. That was my big update. Forgot about it last week. I was very excited.
And the week before.
Yeah, it's been 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Well, I said I want to get him like 100 new likes. I figured if 100 people who would listen to the show would be like, Mitch, I want to see what Mitch is up to. So if you want to see what Mitch is up to.
I'm glad you waited 3 weeks to talk about it, because the way you were talking about it when you called me and said you got to check this out, it was just like you were like a kid on Christmas morning. Like you were filming the greatest unboxing and you were just so excited. But the direction it was going, I'm glad you took 3 weeks. You've mellowed.
I was
good.
Fine. What are you talking about?
Good.
I was fine.
Good man.
Did I have some crazy ideas? I don't remember. Do you?
Oh yeah, I remember everything.
He has some cannabis stuff on his thing now.
Okay. I know. He just did one, a good, cool cannabis class or something like that.
Cannabis conjure.
Yeah. See, that's why our writing
ability.
Right? Post the link or what?
That's why our production skills.
Come on.
That's why our production. Right. That's why our production value went so downhill here, because we lost him. We lost him.
Yeah.
We got but now we got.
He had all those sound effects and a buzzer and a board, and
we have that, dude. Come on.
He was the Fred Norris of the Adam Dunn Show.
No, he never did any of that stuff. But he wrote really well. That's the thing. So Mitch is a great writer. So
yes, he was.
He's a great writer, Mitch. That's that's our boy. That's
last time I saw him face to face was we were down at the Capitol doing some. There was some bill. There was going to be some new bullshit draconian thing they were going to push through and end edibles companies. And that was the last I saw him.
And that was the last I saw of him. Bye.
That was it. Now he's Moses.
Bye. Is Brandon listening to the show? Is he still tripping? Brandon tripping.
Brandon. That'd be funny if you just tuned in for a second.
He's all, Brandon, can you hear me? Brandon. Are you tripping, balls?
Tripping balls.
Tripping.
Balls. Brandon, over here, Brandon. Look this way. No, the other way. I'm behind you, Brandon.
Yeah, exactly. We should do tripping shows that are officially made for tripping, and you just do stuff like that all the time in the show. Not our show, but just another kind of channel.
We got to have Mark on for that, Dr.
Show.
Mark.
Like you do, like, hey, welcome to the Tripping Show. For the next 45 minutes, I'm going to fuck with your head. And then you just fuck with people's heads, and they're like, cool, they love it. They would love it. Because that's all we used to do as kids. We'd be like, oh, yeah, hi, all right. We thought we were cool, trying to make all this. So we could just do that with people with the intentions of knowing. that they're gonna start tripping, so you could like ease into the trip. You could be like, this is made for tripping right now. Take it now. Take it. And then they take it.
Well, the person that is listening to you,
So-
who has that vial of Owsley liquid in their freezer that they've been saving, when you're ready to bust it out, you be sure to call me.
I think.
Oh wait, I just remembered something. You know, I spoke to my buddy today, whose dad was the caretaker of the cough for all those years.
Caretaker of the
And,
cough here in Colorado or
yeah.
in New York?
Yeah.
Oh.
So,
So it's the Colorado cough as opposed
Yep.
to the strawberry cough.
I hadn't spoken to him in so long. I didn't even want to bring up the fact that I dream of that. So our next conversation, I'll see if maybe he's got a cut or something that you
Oh, there you go.
you can't keep going.
Sure. That I can't keep going. Is that what you said?
No, that you can keep going. What did I say? Can't?
I don't know. I thought I heard you can't keep going. I was like,
don't
that
know.
sounds like an MTI program. over
It's
there.
3 hours already.
Are you giving MTI? Are you giving that to MTI? Because that's
No.
when you can't keep. That's there you go. Yes, we can wind her down now. The show. Big shout out to everybody who's on the show. Obviously, come on, Dave. This is your job.
Joe, I appreciate
Joe.
you coming on. I'm really hoping that Juana will take part in the
5280
maybe they'll become a
challenge is going to
sponsor.
happen. No, I don't.
We have to figure that out.
don't
I'm not
know.
eating 5,200 fucking milligrams.
Why
Yes.
not?
Oh, yes, you are.
Okay,
So am I.
MTI, you volunteered then.
Yes, he is too.
What, you think
of
I'm
course,
scared?
Because I know how I feel after 250
Doesn't matter,
milligrams.
you're
I'm not
doing
going to go 20x that.
you're doing it, or you're off the show,
You're
bro.
Well, I'll see if Brother Mitch needs a co-host.
Come on. Oh, the two sidekicks. You guys be the sidekick show? What would go on? What the heck is that? Formerly known as Adam Dunn Show Sidekick Show,
We'll get the kid on too.
and the kid, of course.
And right after you get rid of MTI, he'll join also.
in the show, yeah, then I'll be nothing. I'll be like Chris Rock and fucking CB4 at that point, all on the couch smoking crack. I used to be somebody before when MTI used to take care of me. Now he's famous. Look at him. He's got his Sofa Bab show. He's gone mainstream.
It's gone viral.
He's on after fucking.
He's on ABC News.
He's on after fucking Colbert or something like that. He's like, oh my god, he's huge. They've gotten huge.
That would never happen.
No,
No.
come on now.
What?
So, yes, good show. Thank everybody, like I said, who was on the show. I want to thank Chat Gang. I see Vinny on the Chat Gang. He's got some big news. He wants to get everybody. Oh, he can't wait.
Shout out to
He can't wait
Rosendogs.
to talk big news. And I think next week we're going to have some big news. There's some local stuff here in Colorado to go do that will be safe. Safe, yet fun. Can you imagine? Is it possible?
Possible.
I mean, there's almost nothing safe and fun to do, is there? So this could
Yes,
be
it's just got to be done outside.
Disc
yes,
golf.
This is outside.
Plenty of things.
I have a great
This is
time disc
outside.
golfing.
This is
lately.
outside. This is outside, and this is also you get very creative, I think. So if you like to be creative and have fun, and you're in Colorado, listen next week because we got some fun, creative, cool shit to go do.
And get your letters into us if you need a lamp, if you
That's 2
are a
Fridays.
grower.
2 Fridays. 2 Fridays.
No, but you get it in now so you can, send it in and we can have it in the hopper because there's a lot of email to go through. So we got to pick a winner and a preference given to any poems that make fun of Mark this week.
Fuck.
So
Can't do
why
it.
me?
Doesn't happen.
I don't know.
Mark's
You were
on-
there. I can't have him make fun of
Untouchable.
Adam.
He's
That
Teflon.
would be poor form
They-
for the sidekick.
Whatever. They can do whatever. And they can talk about my beard. There you go. That's more timely. Let's do that. Beard.
That's right. It's not part of you anymore.
Poems about my beard, loss of beard would be great. I can show my son. Be like, look, guy, people are writing poems about my beard, kid. The beard's famous. It's yours. It's all yours. I'll put the poems with the beard. It'll be great. So I think, and then I want to shout out to Rare Fino as always. Look at this. I found a little piece of ball of hash in a little jar. He gave me one before.
Shout out to KTI. We forgot about KTI.
Oh, goo 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 goo.
And Bob.
Poor KTI.
Shout out to
But,
Bob.
Oh no, KTI shaved too, so he's part of the shave
Oh,
shave
yeah.
dudes club. Shave dudes
I'll be
club.
shaved by next week. It'll
Next
be fun.
week. Oh, everyone's
No
shaving, bro.
way.
And didn't somebody major who had a huge beard shave? Who listens to the show?
I'm still gonna keep a beard, but I'm
Was it
gonna
Tony Baloney?
shave it down.
Tony Baloney, did you shave? Somebody shaved.
Oh yeah, Tony Baloney.
And
shaved
he had a
down.
big old
He had a
beard.
big old beard. Yeah.
Big old white beard. That was huge, right?
He could have made like 5 masks.
Exactly. Oh man. So
Rosendogs, it's Carta Quack Quack.
Yeah.
gang. Now quack gang or quack no, gang
Quack
gang?
gang.
Quack gang. I think quack gang is the way to go because you're part of the quack gang. If we had,
No,
I'd
but
love to
we
hear
are-
like 5 of them going off at once. It'd be awesome because they'd be a little off and. I'd be like,
I think his
Well, how
is
about
just
this?
super powered or something because mine doesn't make that noise in the microphone. You know. I don't know.
Well, that's because I keep it right by the microphone because I want you to hear it, douche.
do we want to hear it though? I don't know.
Who
but
out there
I try to keep my
wants
away from the thing.
an Adam Dunn Show Carta?
Who?
Because if you do, you should send an email into Dundeal at Adam Dunn Show.
Oh, they're
We're only
coming.
going to have 10 of them
I
for
know.
sale.
They're going to be
So,
10 custom deals.
They're going to go really quick.
Yep.
So if you want one, send an email in right now. We'll figure out how we're going to ration them out.
How much they're going to cost? I mean, millions.
Millions.
No,
Hold on, hold on.
they have to.
Yeah.
The
Gold
way
plated.
Carta works is
No, I know.
it's one price. They're going to be $250 unless it costs something to get the engraving done on it, and then you can charge for that. But you got to keep them. They have pretty strict rules. So does Puffco. They're all sold for the same price.
Bastards.
Yeah. Oh, but speaking of Puffco, like I said earlier on, I did get in touch with Kevin from Puffco, the Instagram guy,
Yeah.
and he is getting me in touch with the CEO.
Cool.
And we'll have him on to talk about it. And you can tell him that you finally got your Puffco to work for the last 10 minutes of the show after having to charge it for 2.5 hours.
I know. I had it running. Don't worry.
Don't you have 2 of them? I thought you bring 2.
I usually do, but one died. I found a guy. I found a guy who fixes them for $50. So if you want one fixed, you got one. Got any broken ones? I'm telling you, I found a guy.
He has a broken one, don't you?
Peruvian.
No. It was just the atomizer, and I
Well, give
got
it to
another
me, I'll buy an
atomizer, and I gave it
atomizer.
to Jonah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Love
if
to
the
see.
bass breaks and it goes all fucking snargly on you.
No,
I got a guy. No, that's funny.
it was totally operator error because he's had it for the past like 5-6 months, and he's same atomizer. So it was just me.
Rosendog gets some wholesale, so we're good. Now we know.
Oh, sweet.
We're gonna cut him off unless he gets us some. You're like, yeah, you can't even listen anymore. We're gonna keep yelling at you. No, give us free shit. Don't let Dave know you go anything wholesale. He's gonna want free stuff. Free stuff.
Chastise me on the air for it and thank me up and down as soon as the fucking mics go
Ram,
off.
don't ram,
Yeah,
don't
I
ram.
got it. Douche.
You do look like
Douche,
the main
douche.
guy from Revenge of the Nerds now.
Do I?
Yeah.
Lewis!
Dude.
Louis
yeah.
Skolnick!
Big time. That's pretty funny.
Better grow a beard fast.
That's funny shit.
Got the old cruise control set at 35.
That's good shit.
It'll be like this for a month, and then I think I'll let it grow back. I'll let it grow back in about a month.
Yeah.
I'll go through the summer maybe.
Are you shaving daily now?
Not daily, but I did for the show today to be baby. I wanted to be extra baby faced, so I didn't have that two tone. I wasn't two toned again. I was two toned. I was two toned
Right.
last week. I was fresh. I just literally my beard hadn't seen sun for 4 years.
Can't you hear the tone of Mark's voice? He's saying end the show.
Oh, he's
All
like this
right.
over here. He's all, this show sucks.
Nah.
Nobody wants to listen. Nobody likes us. Nobody cares.
Everyone seems to have it. We did get
Everyone-
4 downvotes though this year, like this week.
4 already?
Yeah, what happened?
Wow.
What did you guys do?
Somebody doesn't like us.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Wait, we got 4 downvotes on this show? It's not even done.
Already? It's not even done yet.
Fuck! When did they
What
come
is-
on? Was Joe on the segment? Can we blame it on Joe?
I think so.
Oh, jeez.
It was only
Jay.
2 earlier, and then 2 came in towards the end.
Sorry, guys. Well, next week we have a breeders show. Our buddies over at Caesar now are putting it together. I hit him up today. So I said, listen, this week we're going to be all pros. We're going to start a week early. I think he's got already Bob Hemphill, I think maybe will be coming on. I'm not sure, but we're checking in. But we'll have a full. I think we'll have at least 2. Damn, some bass just rolled by.
Yeah.
I was all like, what was that? Yeah, so join us next week for that. Shout out to the, like I said, chat gang. Shout out to Dave, everybody hanging in here. Shout out to my beautiful wife, Cece, who's running around shopping once again at our house. Everything is great. I let her shop once a week at the house, like a good husband. And but she can't.
She brings a change of underwear, so she doesn't.
Yeah. And she just runs around the house and grabs stuff, and then we bring it down to the farm. So it's a great technique. We seem to always have the right stuff.
Right.
Shout out to Big A. Shout out to the crew with him, all down in Florida. Hang in there, buddy. Shout out to Vinny out there, Team Warped, obviously, next week. Big news. Can't wait. He's excited.
Wow.
T-Dog, the artist, says hello.
Yeah. Nice. T-Dog. T-Dog. I talked to him a couple weeks ago, or 2 weeks ago, maybe.
He sent me a note. Said, make sure you say hello to Adam for me. So, hello.
Yo. And shout out to A Stuff at the Farm, and shout out to... Nate's coming through this week, and anybody, just like everybody, like I said, and all people listening to the show. And
shout out to my daughter Imogene, who turns 16 tomorrow.
Oh shit!
Nice.
You're in trouble now.
16 tomorrow.
Yeah, there goes your.
There's going to be a live cake cutting on Instagram. So for those of you who like cake, it looks like a snake.
She should have a samurai sword to chop it up. You should give her a sword. Give her a sword.
I will.
16. She deserves a sword.
Yep.
Isn't she?
Well, she wants that knife that you gave Nick that he ran around with that afternoon.
But
she's like, can you buy me a knife like that?
Really? See? That's what you need. There you go. Now you know. Cut that cake.
Yep.
It's a pretty big knife.
Right on.
All right, man. Take care, guys.
Peace.
Yep.
Practically every one of the top 40 records being played on every radio station in the United States is a communication to the children to take a trip, to cop out, to groove. The psychedelic jackets on the record albums have their own hidden.
This is a special question. We don't want you to smoke genetically modified ganja. We want you to smoke the real thing. We want you to smoke the natural herb. Some call it marijuana, some call it sensimedia, some call it lamb's bread, and some people call it